Hello everyone, and welcome to Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting video on what if Naruto become the Dragon Ninja. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. The sun had just risen an hour ago in the village called Konoha. A boy is standing on the fourth Hokage head on the Hokage monument. The young boy is about 153.6 centimeters tall. He has a tan face that is adored by three whisker-like scars on each cheek. His eyes are a dark shade of blue that seem to be as deep as the oceans. The young boy is wearing large black hooded cloak that covered all of his small body. On the back of his cloak is a design of a dragon spiraling around. And so another day begins, he said, lowly looking at village. He turned slightly, glancing behind him, feeling a presence behind him. He saw a girl who looked to be the very young, about his age. The young girl is about 150 centimeters in height with a slender build. She has long red hair reaching her waist and her irises are a lightly shade of blue than the young boy's. She has on a sliver kipo dress that has a slit at her hips. She has on black latex shorts on that are visible from the sides and black shinobi sandals. Naruto-sama, you have less than 30 minutes before you have to go to the academy for your test, she said with a slight bow. All right, the boy known as Naruto said lowly. Naruto reached up, grabbed the hood of his cloak before pulling it over his head. It fixed it so the top half of his face was hidden by the shadows the cloak created. Kyrie, I may be home a little late. If I'm not home before 5, presume that I have eaten and make yourself something to eat. Hi, Naruto-sama, Kyrie said, bowing lightly, and have a nice day, Naruto said a second before leaning off the cliff. Kyrie stared for a second before a bright smile appeared on her face. Hi, Naruto-sama, she said. He fell face first down the mountain as his cloak flapped loudly above him. He made a few hand seals under his cloak as he gathered chakra below him. When he got to about halfway down the mountain, he flipped over, causing his cloak to fly up above him. Kei's Sanpo no Jutsu, he whispered. Suddenly he stopped in mid-air, knees bending as thought he landed on the ground. He jumped forward and continued his descent before he stopped again. He continued his act, jumping and stopping in mid-air until he landed softly on the ground. The moment he landed, he started to walk as if he was walking the whole time in the direction of Training Ground 66. It was near the Inazuki clan land, not that anybody knew he used it. As he walked, he saw people open stores and giving him cold stares. He heard the people make low whispers of, "Isn't that the demon kid?" or, "I heard he destroyed Hibiki's yard a few weeks ago," as he walked past them. He ignored the rumors, not caring how false or true they may be, and continued walking in a speedy pace. After 8 minutes, he crossed an old bridge and walked into his training spot. The spot was surrounded by trees on one side and plains on the other. A river ran through the training area, giving many people a chance to learn water-type jutsus. He opened his cloak, showing what he was wearing. He had on a plain red shirt and black pants with white dragon designs. On his arms he has white gauntlets and shin guards. He has 2 kunai pouches on both the right and left side of the back of his pants. On his right leg is a blue kunai holster. Naruto took a deep breath as he turned so his left side facing the tree. He spread his legs shoulder length apart and crouched down a little, resting his weight on his right leg. His left arm was bent upward in front of him while his right was bent so that his arm was pointing at her near his stomach. He took another breath as he started charging chakra into his gauntlets and shin guards. After a few seconds they started to glow a dim white color and he brought back his right arm. Hikari Bakufu, Naruto said, throwing a punch. A white ball came from the gauntlets and shot off towards the tree. He watched as it hit the tree, break it in half as the light from his gauntlets and shin guards disappeared. The ball continued through 5 trees and hit a 6th one, denting it. He got out of his stance as the trees landed on the ground with a loud thump. He walked over to a nearby tree and focused a small amount chakra into his gauntlets and shin guards so not to destroy the tree on his first hit. They started to glow white once again as he got into his taijutsu stance. He drew back his right arm once again before starting to rapidly punch the tree. After 100 punches he stopped, panting lightly. He got out of his stance as the tree collapsed and broke large pieces of splinters. He stared at the remains as he felt liquid fall run down his hands. Kyuubi, Naruto thought. Yeah, I know, a deep masculine rumble of a voice said in his mind. Naruto lifted his hands and watched as red chakra flashed over his wounds. He watched as steam rose from his knuckles and his wounds healed over. Thanks, he thought, dropping his hands from to his sides. Yeah, Kyuubi said, yawning. Naruto put his hands together into a tiger seal and his gauntlets and shin guards disappeared in a flash of light. Naruto fixed his cloak to hide his clothing once again and made another seal. He disappeared in a swirl of light a second later. Naruto landed on the academy grounds about 10 minutes later. He looked around and saw some of the other students entering the academy. Naruto walked toward the academy doors and walked in. He walked down the hall as some of the students began to enter their classroom. He entered the classroom that had the number 210 above the door and saw only a few students sitting down. In the middle row were two boys, one wearing a gray shirt and black long shinobi pants and blue ninja sandals. His charcoal black hair was tied to the back resembling a pineapple. He recognized the boy to be Shikamaru Nara. The boy next to him was his friend Choji Akamichi, a rather plump student wearing a white shirt with green short pants, unruly brown hair and blue ninja sandals. Across the room was a raven-haired young boy with a blue shirt and a fan insignia on the back and white short pants with blue ninja sandals whose name was Sasuke Uchiha. He walked up to the back right corner of the classroom and sat down. He laid his head down and closed his eyes waiting for the class to begin. "Hey Kyuubi, what type of jutsu are you going to teach me after the test?" Naruto asked. "You know a lot of fire and wind jutsus, so I think I will teach you one water and one lightning jutsu today," Kyuubi replied, shifting in his cage. "That's good," he thought. "Hey, why did you attack Konoha?" Naruto thought. "I'm not telling you right now," Kyuubi replied. "I've been asking for 3 years straight, when are you going to tell me?" he thought. "How about you stop bugging me? You'll know when the time is right," Kyuubi replied. Fine, he thought and replied. "Hey, Kyuubi, how long have you been alive?" Naruto thought. "Why do you want to know?" Kyuubi asked. "Well, I just wanted to know," Naruto replied. "I don't remember at this point. I never really counted," Kyuubi said. "You're that old?" he thought. "Yes," Kyuubi let out with a slight growl. Then how in the hell did Naruto? He heard someone yelled, interrupting his train of thought. He looked up slightly to see a man wearing a Chunin uniform and had shoulder-length brown hair tied messily in a high ponytail. He also had a wide horizontal scar across his face. "Yes, Iruka Sensei," Naruto said lowly, keeping his face hidden from the teachers' and students' sight. "Pay attention," Iruka yelled. Naruto nodded and took a quick glance around the class. He noticed that the class had filled up during his conversation with the Kyuubi. "Okay, first we are going to have a review," Iruka said. As he started reviewing, Naruto fell asleep. Iruka saw Naruto sleeping and threw a scroll at him. Sensing the scroll, he moved over, dodging the scroll. Without looking. "I said pay attention," he yelled. Naruto yawned quietly and fell asleep again. Naruto sleep throughout his lesson. "Naruto," Iruka yelled. Naruto lifted his head to look at Iruka. "That's it, you're taking the test last," Iruka yelled. "Okay, when I call your names you are to go the exam room," Iruka said, still angry. "First is Ino Yamanaka," Iruka said. A girl with blonde hair and with aqua-colored eyes, wearing a skin-tight purple shirt with fishnet sleeves and purple skin-tight shorts and blue ninja sandals, stood up and walked out of the class. After 5 minutes she entered the class with a Konoha forehead protector. I did it, she yelled. Iruka followed and stood at the door. "Next is Sasuke Uchiha," he said. Sasuke got up and walked toward the door. After in less than an hour everyone in the class had went except Naruto. "Finally Naruto Uzumaki," Iruka said. Naruto got up and walked out the door to the exam room. He saw Mizuki sitting at a table. Mizuki was wearing a Chunin uniform and had shoulder-length white hair. Iruka sat down next to him and looked at Naruto. "Okay Naruto, do the clone jutsu." "As you wish," Naruto said. He put his hands together in a seal. "Bunshin no jutsu," Naruto said. In a large puff of smoke about 50 Naruto clones appeared around him. Both of the Chunin's jaw dropped at the sheer number of clones. To make so many, I didn't think he would be able to, Iruka thought. How could he? Damn, there goes my plan. I guess I'll have to do it myself, Mizuki thought, forcing a smile. "So'd I pass?" Naruto asked. "Why, yeah, you did a great job," Iruka said, smiling. Naruto walked over quickly to a forehead protector and walked out of the room. He entered the room silently and walked to his seat. He sat down and laid his head down. Iruka soon came in with Mizuki a few minutes after him, both sporting smiles. "I am proud of each and every one of you. You have shown exceptional skills as a leaf shinobi," So congratulate yourselves because it's only going to get harder from here on out, Iruka said. Now before I dismiss you I would like to announce the Rookie of the Year, Iruka said. I bet it's Sasuke-kun. A girl said happily. She has long pink hair with a ribbon holding her hair back. She has green eyes and she wore a red shirt with black sleeves that slightly passed her elbows with a white ring on the stomach area and an open neck area, a red miniskirt that reached about 6 inches above her knees with black short pants underneath and blue ninja sandals. Sorry, but it isn't Sasuke. He was one of the ones that had the highest points. Out of 400 he got 379, 1 point less than last year's Rookie of the Year, Iruka said. All the girls in the class jumped up nearly hysterical. Sasuke-kun is the smartest and strongest in the class, if he didn't then who? Ino shouted. Everyone was listening hard to hear who got higher than Sasuke. The Rookie of the Year with the highest points is, Iruka said stopping. With a total of 385 points is Naruto Uzumaki, Iruka said. Everyone turned and looked at a sleeping Naruto. Damn it Naruto, stop sleeping, Iruka yelled. Naruto raised his head and looked at everyone staring at him. Why is everyone staring at me? Naruto thought. If Naruto would have did all of the first part of the exam instead of going to sleep he would have a perfect score, Iruka said. Everyone looked at Naruto completely speechless. The one person who always gets the lowest scores in everything is the Rookie of the Year. There must be some kind of mistake, a boy said. I went over it 3 times, there is no mistake. You are all dismissed, Iruka said. Everyone in the class got up and left silently. Everyone gathered outside and met with their parents. Naruto walked over to the tree outside the academy and sat on the swing. He quickly tied his forehead protector to his arm underneath his cloak as he swung. He watched as the students were congratulated by their parents. He heard a few say things like, "That my son," and "I'll make you your favorite diner." He saw an old man known as the Hokage speaking with Iruka in front of the crowd. The Hokage had a hat on with the kanji symbol for fire in the middle. He wore a white cloak with the kanji symbol for Hokage on the back. I wonder what I should do. I told Kyrie I would be home late tonight, he thought. Hey kid, it's time for training, so go to a secluded spot, Kyubi said. Okay, but let me get something to eat first, he thought and replied. Naruto got up and left the academy ground. He walked for 5 minutes and got to Ichiraku's ramen shop. Naruto sat down in the middle and looked at the old man making ramen. Hey Naruto, what do you want today? The old man said cheerfully. Beef flavor ramen, Naruto said. Okay, coming right up, he replied. After eating about 10 bowls of ramen, Naruto checked the clock. So it's 7 o'clock, I guess I could start training now, Naruto thought as he took out his wallet. He paid the old man and left the shop. He walked into alley and jumped to the roof. He started to run at a fast pace through the village and came to a forest. He ran into the forest for 10 minutes and came to a river. How's this spot? Naruto thought. Good, now come to my cage, Kyubi said. Okay, Naruto thought. Naruto sat down and closed his eyes. He started to meditate and after a few minutes he was standing in a dark room with a huge cage in the middle. What now? Naruto said. Big red eyes appeared behind the cage. Okay, first things first. Do you remember the lesson about using your chakra to attract water? Kyubi asked. Yes, Naruto said. A scroll came from the cage toward Naruto and he caught it. Then this shouldn't take too long. Open the scroll, Kyubi said. Naruto opened the scroll and read the first words out loud. Suiden Mizugufu no Jutsu, he said. He read over the scroll. He looked up at the Kyubi. Now try it, Kyubi said. Naruto opened up his eyes and stood up. He walked closer to the water and opened his cloak. He started doing slow-paced hand seals. After a long sequence of seals, Naruto ended it with the tiger seal. Suiden Mizugufu no Jutsu, Naruto said as the water started to rise. The water started to spin and rise into the air. The water started to lose its form and splashed all over Naruto. Good for your first try. Now try it again, Kyubi said. Naruto did it again and got the same results. This is going to take longer than I thought, Kyubi said. Hokage's office, Hokage-sama, someone has stolen the scroll of sealing, a Chunin said. He got up from his seat and walked over to the Chunin. Gather all the Chunin and Junin on the roof in 5 minutes, he said calmly. Hi, the Chunin said. The man turned around before running through the door. The Hokage walked to the window and looked out the window at Konoha. He sighed and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Training ground. Good, you mastered that jutsu's pretty fast considering how you started off. It only took an hour. Okay Naruto now. Wait, somebody is coming closer. Naruto thought, interrupting Kyrie as he looked in the distance. Then let's wait and see who it is, Kyrie said. Naruto nodded, placing his hand up against the tree. The person should be here soon, Naruto thought. After a few minutes, a large number of kunai came flying at Naruto. He moved out the way, dodging them, and saw Mizuki jump to the floor with a scroll on his back. Naruto stared at Mizuki and the scroll on his back. I recognize that scroll. That's the Hokage's scroll of sealing, he thought. Really, maybe we should return it, Kyrie said with evil smile. Naruto Uzumaki, what are you doing here? Mizuki asked. Answer me, boy, he yelled. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto thought, making a seal under his cloak. 10 clones appeared and charged at Mizuki with the real Naruto. Oh please, like your Bunshins could work against me, Mizuki gloated. All of the Narutos ran forward toward Mizuki, barely making a sound. I just have to wait for the... His train of thought stopped when the first clone reached him and threw a punch. A feint, his sentence stopped as he back hitting the ground, losing the scroll in the process. He got up quickly as the clones continued to come towards him. Wait, he thought, seeing the grass move. Fuck, these are not normal clones, he thought as he got ready. After a few minutes of fighting, Mizuki stood panting, looking around the area. That was easy. Now where is the real Naruto? Mizuki said between pants. He turned around and saw Naruto with the scroll he had stolen tied to his back. How did you? Give me the scroll back, Mizuki said, glaring at him. Naruto made another seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he said quietly. 20 clones appeared in a puff of smoke, each having a scroll. All the Naruto scattered off in different directions as the real Naruto ran back to his original training spot. Naruto opened the scroll, Kyrie said. Naruto untied the scroll and opened it. The first jutsu he saw was the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. I already know that, Naruto thought. He looked at the next jutsu was the Bunshin Daibakuha. That's a good one to learn, Kyrie said. Naruto started reading on how to do it. 2 hours later, Naruto was sitting against a tree, panting heavily. Bunshin Daibakuha was harder than expected, he said lowly, when he sensed a familiar presence. He stood up and closed the scroll. He said. Iruka jumped down from a tree and landed in front of Naruto. He looked at him before looking at the scroll in his hands. Naruto, don't tell me you stole the scroll, Iruka said with a shocked look. Naruto shook his head. Then whom? Iruka said. Before Naruto could answer, Iruka sensed danger and pushed Naruto out of the way. He was hit with a kunai in his leg and shoulder while the other 3 kunai hit the tree behind him. You little brat, I going torture you for making chase all those clones, Mizuki yelled, pointing at Naruto. Naruto stared at Iruka, pointing at Mizuki. He did it, Naruto said in his normal low tone. Iruka looked at Mizuki, glaring hard. I see, Iruka said, pulling a kunai from his shoulder. Brat. Hand over that scroll, Mizuki growled. Naruto, run, don't let him get the scroll, Iruka shouted. Iruka-sensei, it would be better if you didn't say useless things, Naruto said, walking right in front of him. And you, Mizuki, if you want this scroll, then come down here and get it, Naruto said. Or do you not have enough balls to do so? Naruto asked. Mizuki got angry and put on a sinister smile. I know how to get him, Mizuki thought. Hey Naruto, how about I tell you a secret? There was a law placed by the 3rd Hokage about you, Mizuki said as Iruka pulled out the kunai. Don't, Iruka yelled. It was placed 12 years ago after the incident occurred, Mizuki said. A law? Naruto said. It is a law that only you, Naruto, can't find out about, Mizuki added. What law? Naruto asked. Stop, Mizuki, Iruka yelled. The rule is not to say that Naruto is not the monster fox, Mizuki stated. In other words, you are the Kyrie no Yoko that killed Iruka parents and destroyed our village, Mizuki said as his smile became wider. Naruto remained silent as he looked at him, his hood hiding his eyes. He tilted his head slightly so his hood would hide his smirk. No one's even going to recognize you, he yelled. Even Iruka hates you, he added, taking out a large shuriken and spinning it. Die Naruto, he said, throwing it. Naruto, get down, Iruka yelled as the shuriken came closer. Iruka tried to run towards Naruto but fell and grabbed his leg. Before the shuriken could hit Naruto, it had disappeared. What happened? Mizuki yelled. Where did it go? Iruka thought. Looking for this, Naruto said, taking out the shuriken. But how? I didn't see him move. They both thought. Naruto dropped the shuriken and did a T-like hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He yelled as 100 clones appeared in a puff of smoke. I'll make you pay for hurting Iruka-sensei, Naruto said. Yeah, right. I'm way more powerful than you, Demon Bow. Ah, he was interrupted by a kick to the back of the head. He hit the floor hard and looked around as the clones came in closer. No, he yelled as they started to beat him up. After a few minutes, Mizuki was out cold and Naruto dispelled his clones. He walked over and grabbed the scroll and then to Iruka. You know, Iruka-sensei, running while your leg is like that could worsen the wounds, Naruto said, looking at his leg. Hey, yeah, I know, Iruka replied, smiling. I can't believe that he beat Mizuki so easy, he thought. Can you walk? Naruto asked calmly. Yeah, he said, standing up. He grabbed the scroll and Naruto grabbed Mizuki by his collar and they walked toward the village. Hokage Tower. The Hokage was sitting in his seat looking at his crystal ball that showed Naruto and Iruka walking to Konoha. It seems that Naruto does care for someone else, he said. He got up and walked out of his office. He walked outside to a group of Chunin and Junin. We can't find the criminal, one said. It's alright, Iruka and Naruto has both the scroll and the criminal, Hokage said with a smile. Who is the criminal? A Chunin asked. It seems like it is Mizuki, he replied. You are all dismissed, he added. Hi, everyone said and ran off. Naruto, you are really interesting, he said to himself. Naruto and Iruka. Naruto, why do you keep on your hood? Iruka asked. To keep my face hidden, Naruto replied. Why? He asked. For personal reasons, Naruto said. Can I see your face? Iruka asked. Naruto smirked and took off his hood. Iruka stared for a good minute before smiling. No wonder you hid your face. If you didn't, I'll bet you'll have more fangirls than even Sasuke, Iruka said. I doubt that, Naruto replied, frowning. So Naruto, what are those personal reasons? Iruka asked. I only show my face to the people I trust with my life, Naruto said. So you trust me? Iruka asked. Yay, Naruto replied, putting on his hood back on his face. After 30 minutes of walking, they were near the Hokage Tower. As they got closer, that saw the Hokage and 2 Anbu members. Hello, Iruka. Naruto, what took you so long? The Hokage asked. Well, I sort of hurt my leg, Iruka said. One of the Anbu members came to Naruto and took Mizuki. The other took the scroll from Iruka and handed it to the Hokage. Okay, take Mizuki and place him in a cell and bring Iruka to the hospital. Naruto, you should go home and get some rest, the Hokage said. Naruto nodded and waved goodbye to Iruka and the Hokage. He walked and turned around a house and made a hand seal. He disappeared in a swirl of light and appeared in his room. There was a middle-sized bed with red sheets and 2 pillows. He took off his cloak, threw it on a chair. He opened the door and saw Kyrie sleeping on the couch in her white nightgown. He smiled softly and picked her up bridal style. He started to walk back to his room, only stopping to adjust her. When he reached his bed, he laid her down on it gently and put the sheets over her. Naruto sighed at her before he turned around. He headed towards the door and walked out the room, grabbing the doorknob on his way. He closed the door and walked down the hall to the living room. He got to the couch before laying down on it. He looked up at the ceiling and thought about team arrangements. Hey Kyuubi, who do you think I will get paired with? Naruto thought. Most likely the Uchiha brat, for reasons you should know, he replied. No thoughts about the other one, Naruto thought. Nope, Kyuubi stated, now go to sleep. Yeah, Naruto said out loud. He fell asleep a few minutes later thinking about who was going to be his teammates. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu Shadow Clones Jutsu Sweden Mizu Gufu no Jutsu Water Release, Water Tornado Jutsu, Original. Kase Sanpo no Jutsu Wind Walk Jutsu, Original, Bunshin Daibakuha, Clone Great Explosion. Naruto woke up as he felt something move on his shirt. He looked at his shirt and found a fox kit the size of a puppy. His fur was golden yellow and had blue eyes. He walked up to Naruto's face and started licking him. Okay, I'm up, Naruto said, picking up the fox. He placed him down on the floor and watched as he ran in circles. Oh, said. The kid stopped and stared at Naruto. Naruto petted the fox and stood up. He walked toward the window and saw that it was still dark out. He walked towards his room as Yoko followed. He opened up the door slowly and saw Kyrie still sleeping. He walked quietly into the room and went into his dresser and took out a pair of boxers, pants, and a shirt. He turned around and saw Yoko curled into a ball on the bed next to Kyrie. Naruto shook his head and walked out the room. He walked into the bathroom and turned on the shower. He took off his clothes and got in. After 15 minutes he was out the bathroom with his dirty clothes in hand. He now is wearing black pants, a white sleeveless shirt, his forehead protector tied to his arm, a red wristband on each arm, a red leg warmer on each leg and a kunai pouch on each leg. He walked back into his room and threw the clothes into a hamper. He walked out the room and back to the bathroom. He ran water in the sink and grabbed his toothbrush. After a few minutes Naruto was out the bathroom and walking back into his room. He walked over to the chair and picked up his cloak and went into a back in his dresser and drew a black mask. He put the mask on covering everything below his eyes and put on the cloak. He slipped the hood over his head and walked over to the bed. He petted the fox and made a hand seal. He disappeared in a swirl of light and reappeared at a clearing surrounded by trees. Kyrie, you up? Naruto thought. Yeah, I'm up. Okay, time to finish the train from 2 days ago and start a new one, Kyrie said. What do I do? Naruto thought. First I think it's time you put on weights, Kyrie said. Okay, Naruto thought. At that moment Naruto fell to the ground. What the hell? Naruto said as he got into a slouched over position. He looked at his arm and saw that his wristbands had a seal on them. What did you do? Naruto thought. I placed charca weights on your wristbands and leg warmers, Kyrie said, chuckling. You could have warned me. Now how much did you put? He thought. I put 20 pounds on the wristbands, leg warmers. You have a total of 80 pounds. Now get up, do 50 push-ups, sit-ups, squats, punch a tree with each arm 50 times and kicks to a tree 50 times with each arm and run 50 laps around the training ground. Use your charca to help with your training by gathering it into your arms, legs, and back. Now start, Kyrie said. At that moment Naruto focused charca into the body parts Kyrie said and started doing push-ups. After about 15 minutes he was done and switched to sit-ups. After about 3 hours he was done with all of his exercises and was panting as he lay on the ground. I'm done, Naruto thought. Good, now time for the jutsu, Kyrie said. Now come to my cage. Naruto sat in a position where his legs are crossed and started to meditate. He opened up his eyes and saw a large pair of red eyes staring at him. A scroll came from the cage and he caught it. That is the next jutsu, Kyrie said. Naruto opened the scroll to see Raiden. Raiko Tama no Jutsu. He memorized the contexts of the scroll and looked up. This is a B rank jutsu. This shouldn't take you all that long to do, Kyrie explained. Naruto nodded his head and left the cage. He opened his eyes and rested for 5 minutes. He started to do slow-paced hand seals. After doing the sequence of seals he put his right hand up in front of him. Raiden Raiko Bakufu no Jutsu, he said as lightning started to crackle in his hand. Focus, Naruto thought, trying to change the form of the lightning. After a minute the lightning started to change into the form of a ball-sized sphere with lightning crackling from it. He thrust his arm forward toward a tree. The attack flew toward the tree and hit it. The tree collapsed due to the impact of the jutsu. Good, I wasn't expecting you to get it with your first try. Now try it again. You need to change the lightning into a sphere more quickly, Kyrie said. Naruto did the hand seal again at a faster rate. Raiden Raiko Bakufu no Jutsu, Naruto said. He repeated his actions from before and formed a sphere faster. How was that? Naruto thought as the attack dissipated. Good, you must have been practicing lightning manipulation while I was sleeping, Kyrie said. Yeah, but not just lightning. You should have been paying attention, Naruto thought. I could always check your memories. A matter of fact, I think I will, Kyrie said. Naruto walked to a nearby tree and made a ram seal as Kyrie checked his memories. He gathered charca into his feet and ran at the tree. He ran up the tree and got halfway up the tree before he lost his footing. He flipped over and landed on his feet. It's harder with weights on. Naruto thought, walk away from the tree. Ho, you developed quite a few jutsus. You created 5 more of mostly all the elements. Wind, water, lightning, fire, all that's left is 2 more earth jutsus. Since you did the others by yourself, I'll help you with earth, light and dark jutsus, the fox said. Yeah, Naruto thought, gathering charca in his feet. He took out a kunai and ran toward the tree again. He ran up the tree and got a little above halfway before he lost his footing. He marked the tree with his kunai before he fell. He landed on his feet and looked at the tree. He noticed that the sun had already risen. Damn, what time is it? Naruto said. He formed a hand seal and disappeared in a swirl of light. He appeared in his apartment. He looked around and went towards his room. He opened the door to see Kyrie only in panties. She stared at him and screamed loudly. He jumped and closed the door blushing. Sorry, Naruto yelled, running out the house. Oh shit, she's going to be mad, Naruto thought, slowing down. I doubt it. Don't you remember you are her master? Kyubi asked, chuckling. She follows your will. If you tell her to strip, she'll do it without a second thought, Kyubi stated. I doubt that, Naruto thought. He walked toward the academy, debating with the Kyubi. Give me one reason why you think that, Naruto thought. Maybe it is because she said that she would do anything you tell her to do, Kyubi said. I don't remember her saying anything like that, Naruto thought. You're just trying to piss me off, aren't you, brat? Kyubi asked. Did you just call me a brat, you red-eyed hairball? Naruto replied. What the fuck did you call me? I am the king of demons, you shall watch your mouth, mortal, Kyubi growled. Oh look, the high and mighty act. Give me a break, I heard this more than once. Come up with some new material, Naruto thought. Damn you. I'll find a way to get back at you, Kyubi said. Yeah, Naruto thought. He walked a few more minutes and arrived at the academy. He went in his classroom to find that most of the students were already seated. He walked to the back of the class and took his seat. He turned to see that he was sitting next to Sasuke. Sasuke wore his normal white shorts and blue shirt with his forehead protector tied to his forehead. He had his elbows on the table with his hand crossed, covering his mouth. He turned and glared at him. Naruto decided to return the favor and glared at him. Lightning started to form at the intensity of their glare. Before too long the door slid open. Both Naruto and Sasuke shifted their side to the door. They saw Ino and Sakura fighting to get in the class. They got in and stretched their arms out, pushing each other faces. Goal, they yelled in unison. They put their arms down and started panting. I win again, Sakura, Ino said, smiling. What are you talking about? My toe entered the class before yours by a centimeter. Sakura replied with the same smile. Are you blind? Ino said. Naruto got tired of listening and placed his head down on his arms. He heard footsteps get closer to him before stopping. Hello, Sasuke-kun. Sakura said. He tilted his head and saw Sasuke just look at her. Naruto, get up, you're in my seat, she said. Your seat? I'm sitting next to him, Ino said. First come, first serve, Sakura replied. I came into the classroom before you, Ino said, as they argued around the table, shouting and yelling over the seat. Sasuke turned and closed his eyes, ignoring the arguing girls. How annoying, he thought. Fangirls, Naruto thought, closing his eyes. Naruto, you're in my seat, Sakura said, again annoyed. Naruto lifted his head and stared at her. According to your logic, since I am the one this seat, that means I came first. Thus this belongs to me and not you. So sit somewhere else, Naruto said, lowly waving his hand. Naruto GE. Sakura started as the door opened. Everyone sit down, Iruka said. Sakura and the other girls moved and sat in different seats. Sakura sat next to Ino, a seat behind him. Naruto turned back to see Sasuke grinning. Okay, starting today, you are all official ninjas, but you are still new genin. Like I said before, it's going to get harder from here. Now you all will be in a group of 3, where you will accomplish missions under a Junin teacher, Iruka said. A group of 3. Everyone thought except Naruto. I wonder who's going to be in Sasuke-kun's team, Ino said. I don't know, Sakura replied. Damn it, I'm the one who's going to team up with him, of course, Sakura said. A group of 3? That's only going to be a burden to me, Sasuke thought. I will now announce the groups, Iruka said. Naruto let out a sigh, turning his head as he ignored the teams that was made. Now that I think about it, I should have taken that picture over. It showed too much of my face, Naruto thought, remembering the prior day. Doesn't matter anyway. Kyubi let out. Maybe not, Naruto though. Next, Team 7. Naruto Uzumaki. Iruka started, causing Naruto's to look up. Sakura Haruno, he added. I'm with Naruto, Sakura thought and dropped her head. And Sasuke Uchiha, Iruka said. Sakura let out a happy squeal once she heard the name. Seems like you are right about Sasuke, Naruto thought. Of course I am right, I'm no idiot. It's the obvious choice considering certain factors. But why the fangirl? Kyubi asked. Don't know, Naruto thought. Next, Team 8. Hinata Hyuga, Iruka said. Hi, she replied. Naruto turned back to see a girl with purple hair and white eyes. She had on a tan jacket with a red flame insignia on the sleeve and wore her forehead protector around her neck. Kiba Inuzuka. Iruka said. Naruto looked toward the front and saw a boy with red tattoo marks on his cheeks. He wore a gray jacket with the hood on and gray pants with blue ninja sandals. And Shino Aburame. Iruka finished. Shino wore a gray shirt with a high collar that covered his mouth and his forehead protector tied on his head. He has black hair and his eyes are covered by black sunglasses. Team 9. Iruka started. Sakura turned to Ino and put her hands in a V sign. Why do you get to be with him? Ino asked angrily. Alright. Love prevails. Inner Sakura said. Why do girls like such a guy anyway? Shikamaru asked. Don't you even know that, Shikamaru? Ino asked. I'm not a girl, Shikamaru replied. That's why you're not popular. I wouldn't want to team up with a guy like you, Ino said. Team 10. Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, Iruka said. Looks like you have to team up with me, Shikamaru said. And Shoji Akamichi. Iruka finished. And a fatty? Ino thought, grabbing her head. That's it for the groups. Iruka said. I'm going to introduce the Junin teachers in the afternoon. Everyone is dismissed until then. Iruka continued. Everyone got up and left the class. Naruto left the class last and jumped onto the roof. Okay Naruto, take out the swords. Kyuubi said. Naruto took out white and black scrolls from his kunai pouch on his right leg and sat down. Then bit his thumb hard enough to draw blood. He opened the white scroll and rubbed his thumb on it, leaving a trail of his blood on the scroll. A sword appeared in a puff of smoke from the scroll. The sword was longer than the Anbu katana. It is in a white sheath. He grabbed the sword and placed it on the scroll that was now on the ground. He repeated his actions with the black scroll. The next sword that appeared is in a black sheath. He grabbed the sword as the scroll fell on the roof and placed the sword on it. His thumb healed up as he unsheathed the sword from the white scroll first and placed the sheath on the ground. Its hilt was gold and had the kanji for dawning light on it. The blade was sparkling white. Then he unsheathed the second blade. Its hilt was red and had the kanji for oblivion on it. The blade was sparking black. It's been a while, hasn't it? Dawning light, oblivion, Naruto said, smiling. He picked up dawning light and oblivion. Okay Naruto, I going to place charka seals on the blades, Kyuubi said. At that moment the swords had a seal on them and Naruto nearly dropped them. How many pounds did you put on them? Naruto thought, trying to hold them up. I put 80 pounds each, Kyuubi said, smiling evilly. Don't you think that's a bit much? Naruto thought. Payback's a bitch, isn't it? Kyuubi asked. Damn you, Naruto thought. Now reseal them. Once you get more free time you'll train with them, Kyuubi said. Naruto sheathed his swords and put them down next to their scrolls. He took out a brush and wrote on the now blank scrolls. After finishing, he gathered charka in his hands. He hit the scrolls and the swords floated into the air and disappeared into the scrolls. He put the white scroll into his kunai pouch on his right leg and the black scroll into the kunai pouch on his left leg and started doing push-ups. Naruto did this for 10 minutes. He laid on his back with his hands behind his head looking at the clouds. My record is now 130 in 10 minutes. Naruto thought. He laid there for 10 minutes when he heard a bell ring. He got up and jumped down to the floor. He walked in the class and sat in his seat. He laid his head down and went to sleep. Kid, wake up, Kyuubi said. And I thought you were gay, Kyuubi said, laughing. Shut it, Naruto thought. My name is Kurenai Yui. Team 8, follow me, she said. Hinata, Kiba, and Shino got up and followed her out the class. After a few minutes a man walked in. He had black hair and had a beard and was smoking a cigarette. He wore a green Junin vest with a blue shirt under it with bandages on his shirt. He had a gray waistband below his vest with a fire kanji on it and blue pants. I'm Asuma Sarutobi. Team 10, follow me, he said. Ino, Shikamaru, and Shoji got up and followed him out the class. The only people left in the room after Team 10 left was Iruka, Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto. My shift is over, so I'll see you later, Iruka said with a wave of his hand. He left the 3 genin in the classroom to wait for their teacher. Why'd I have to get the late teacher? Naruto thought, looking at Sakura getting close to Sasuke. Naruto began to mediate. After about 3 hours Naruto woke up and threw a kunai at the door as it slid open. The person who opened the door caught the kunai and now was twirling it on his index finger as he stepped all the way in the classroom. The man had gray hair with a black face mask. His forehead protector was slighted to cover his left eye. He wore a Junin vest with blue pants and shirt with a red swirl on it. How shall I say this? My first impression is, well, I don't like you guys, he said as Sasuke and Sakura's head dropped. Now meet me on the roof in 5 minutes, he said, disappearing in a puff of smoke. They got up and walked towards the roof. They got there to see the man reading an orange book. He closed his book as they sat down on the stairs. Okay, let's start off with introductions. You know your name, likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams for the future, he said. Hey Sensei, why don't you go first so we could see how to do it, Sakura said. Alright. My name is Kakashi Hitaki. My likes and dislikes, well, I don't want to tell you. My hobbies, my dream of the future, well, never really thought about it, he said. So we only learned his name. They thought. Now you go Pinky, Kakashi said. Pinky, I'll kick his ass, cha, inner Sakura said, punching the air. My name is Sakura Haruno. My likes are, well, the person I like isng at Sasuke and giggles. My hobbies are, she said, taking a peek at Sasuke. Well, my dreams for the future is, she said, then gave a loud squeal. And I hate Naruto and Ino, she finished, glaring at Naruto. Great, stuck with a fangirl, the 3 other members thought in unison. You next, Kakashi said, pointing to Sasuke. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. There are tons of things I don't like, but I don't really like anything. And I don't want to use the word dream, but I have an ambition. The resurrection of my clan, and definitely to kill a certain man, Sasuke said. Great, a fangirl and an avenger, Naruto thought. Whoa, so cool, Sakura thought. I thought so, Kakashi thought. Now you, Kakashi said, pointing at Naruto. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen and a few people. My dislike is the majority of the adults of Konoha. I hate fangirls and avengers. My hobbies are training, coming up with new jutsus and playing shogi. My dream for the future is to become the greatest Hokage, Naruto said calmly. He's an odd one. Maybe the Hokage was right, Kakashi thought as Sasuke and Sakura glared at Naruto. Okay, tomorrow we start our missions, Kakashi said. What type of mission? Sakura asked. Survival training, Kakashi said. Why is training our mission? Sakura asked. I guess I could let you on a little secret. Out of the 27 students, only 9 will be chosen as genin. The rest will be sent back to the academy. So this training is highly difficult test with a failure rate of over 66%, Kakashi said coldly. Sasuke and Sakura's eyes widen. But we already passed the genin exam, Sakura said. No, the graduation exam was just a test to see who had the potential to become genins, Kakashi said. Anyway, tomorrow you will be graded on the training field. Bring some shinobi equipment and assemble at 6 a.m., he said. I have to pass or I'll get separated from Sasuke-kun, Sakura thought. Sasuke clutched his hand and got up. I should have guessed, Naruto thought. Oh, skip breakfast, you'll throw it up, Kakashi said and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Sakura walked up to Sasuke blushing. Hey Sasuke-kun, would you like to go on a date? Sakura asked. No, Sasuke said, emotionless, and walked off. Sakura dropped her head and was about to walk off. Sakura-san. Maybe you should stop chasing after him. It's obvious that he's not into dating at this moment, Naruto said. Shut up. You don't know what you are talking about. Just mind your own business, Sakura yelled. Naruto replied and jumped off the roof. He did a hand seal halfway down and disappeared in a swirl of light. He stopped near a river at the bottom of a waterfall. He walked to a tall tree and drew a kunai from his pouch. He focused charka into his feet and ran at the tree. He ran halfway up the tree and marked it before he fell. After 2 hours of doing it, he made it all the way up the tree. At least I can climb trees normally again, he thought as he rested on the ground. Good, now try water walking, Kyrie said. Yeah, Naruto thought, getting up. He took off his cloak and his kunai pouches. He dropped them on the ground and started to charge charka into his feet. After a few seconds he started to walk towards the water. Walked on the river and his feet sank until both feet was submerged in the water. He applied more charka to his feet and his feet rose to the top. He walked back to the land and picked up his kunai pouch that was on his right leg and drew a white scroll. He dropped it back on the cloak. He bit his thumb drawing blood and opened the scroll. He put his thumb on the scroll as he unrolled it, making a streak of blood. The white sword appeared and he grabbed it. He unsheathed his blade and carefully placed the sheath on the ground. He stood up and started doing horizontal slashes. He did it counting up to 100 and switched to vertical slashes. He did it up to 100 and stabbed the blade into the ground. He laid down panting next to his blade. He stared at the sky, which was reddish-orange. It's getting late, maybe I should go home, Naruto thought. Yeah, after 100 diagonal slashes, Kyrie said. Yeah, Naruto thought. After 3 minutes Naruto got up and picked up his sword. He did 100 slashes and then picked up his sheath. He put dawning light inside the sheath and resealed it inside the scroll. He put the scroll back into the kunai pouch and strapped it to his right leg. He picked up his other kunai pouch and cloak and put them on. He made a ram seal and disappeared in a swirl of light. He appeared in his room and took off his cloak. He threw it on the chair and quietly walked over to the door. He reached the door and slowly opened it. He walked out quietly and looked for Kyrie. Maybe she's not here right now, Naruto thought. He walked toward the couch and laid down quietly and fell asleep. Hey kid, wake up, it's almost 5 o'clock, Kyrie said. Naruto woke up and found Yoko sleeping on his stomach. He picked up the Yoko and moved toward his room. He saw Kyrie sleeping in bed and placed Yoko right next to her. He grabbed some clothes and went off to the shower. He was done with his morning routine in 45 minutes. He was now wearing a dark blue shirt and red pants. He wore the same red wristbands and leg warmers. He put back on the same black face mask as before and had his forehead protector around his arm. He had a blue cloak on with a red swirl on the back. He'll probably be late again, so mines will have breakfast, Naruto thought. Naruto got up and went toward his refrigerator. He took out some ham, turkey, cheese and made him a sandwich. He pulled down his mask and ate the sandwich. He grabbed a piece of paper from his room without waking Kyrie. He wrote a note to Kyrie telling her he had to leave early for training with his new team. He pulled up his mask and made a hand seal. He disappeared from his apartment in a swirl of light. He appeared near a tree near the training ground and memorial stone at 6 a.m. He saw Sakura and Sasuke standing there waiting with their bags on. I wonder how long Kakashi's going to take, Naruto thought, looking at area. He jumped up to a tree branch facing away from his teammates and fell asleep. 3 hours later. Hey, wake up, Kyuubi roar. Naruto woke up and immediately sensed a familiar Charka signal. He's here, Naruto thought. Hello guys, good morning, Kakashi said. Sensei, you're late, Sakura screamed. Sorry, a black cat crossed my path and, Kakashi said, stopping. He saw Sakura huff and coughed. Oh well, he said, walking over 3 stumps wooded post and putting a clock on it. He placed his hand on the top of the button. Now that everyone is here we can start, Kakashi said. But Naruto isn't here, Sakura said. Naruto, do you mind comes out? Kakashi asked. No, Naruto replied lowly, appearing on a tree branch in plain view clothes and face hidden by his cloak. Sasuke and Sakura's eye widened. Impossible. I didn't sense him at all, Sasuke thought, gritting his teeth in anger. Naruto jumped down and walked over to the 2 genin. Okay, it's set for noon, he said, pushing the button. Your task is to get these bells from me before noon, Kakashi said, pulling out and holding 2 bells up for them to see. Those who do not get a bell by noon get no lunch and get tied to one of those posts. Then you will have to watch me eat my lunch, he finished, pointing to the post. So telling us not to eat breakfast, Sasuke thought, was for this, Sakura thought, holding her stomach. I guess I was the only one who ate, Naruto thought, hear his teammates' belly growl. But Sensei, there's only 2 bells, Sakura said, because there are 2, one will definitely be tied to the post. And that person fails, Kakashi said. At least one of you will be sent back to the academy. It might be one or all of you. You can use shuriken, any other weapon. You won't be able to get it unless you come at me with the intent to kill, Kakashi finished. Now start, Kakashi said. They each jumped away and hid in a brush. Good, they're all concealed well, Kakashi thought. Naruto was up in the tree looking hink. Naruto. There are 2 bells, whoever gets a bell before noon pass and those who don't fail. But if that's the case, it is impossible for 9 genin to be selected. Then why would we be put the teams? Naruto thought. After a few seconds Naruto eyes widen. Teams? I see a ninja must look underneath the underneath. This test is a team exercise. It is used to put us against each other. So this test is meant to see if we can work out our differences and work together towards our cause, Naruto thought. You're getting smarter. I didn't even have to help you, Kyrie said. Okay, Sakura under the bushes on my right and Sasuke in a tree on my left, he thought, ignoring the Kyuubi. He was about to move when he came to a realization. Damn it. Sasuke is too arrogant to admit he needs help and Sakura only cares about helping the Teme. Naruto thought. I guess it won't hurt to try. Naruto thought, sighing. Naruto ran towards Sakura first. He found her and bent down next to her. She noticed him and almost screamed, but Naruto covered her mouth. Sakura-san, I need help to get the bells. Naruto whispered, letting her go. Why would I help you pass? You could fail for all I care. I need to pass to be with Sasuke-kun, she said quietly. But, go away, she said, interrupting him. Naruto got angry and ran towards Sasuke. Hey Sasuke-san, help me get the bells. You can't do it by yourself, Naruto said. Yes, I can. You are just too weak to get it yourself, Sasuke replied, moving to another spot. Damn arrogant bastard. I guess I have to wing it, Naruto thought, and jumped out in the clearing. Naruto opened his cloak as he got into a taijutsu stance and ran towards Kakashi. I was sure he was going to get their help. Oh well, Kakashi thought. Kakashi reached in his pouch. Naruto stopped and jumped back. Ninja fighting lesson number 1. I'll teach you about taijutsu, Kakashi said, drawing an orange book. Why did you take out that book? Naruto asked. Why else to know what happens next? Don't worry about it. It won't make a difference against you guys, he replied. It seems he's underestimating me. I don't want to show too much of my skill, so for now I'll just assess his skills, Naruto thought. He ran at him and tried to kick him only to miss. He's fast, Naruto thought, spinning around and throwing a punch toward Kakashi. Naruto hit nothing and looked back to find Kakashi bent behind him with a tiger seal formed. A ninja isn't supposed to be caught from behind, he said. That's a tiger seal. Is he going to kill Naruto? Sasuke and Sakura thought. Konohagakure Hiden. Taijutsu no Ougi. Senin Garashi, Kakashi said, smirking as he thrust his hand forward. He heard his target scream. Sakura paled and Kakashi frowned when he realized that it was not Naruto. Naruto had done a kawarimi using Sasuke. Sasuke flew into the river as Naruto chuckled in a tree. He hit his Charka signal and he stared at Kakashi. Ha, 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 that was the most funniest thing I seen in a while, Kyuubi said, laughing. HN Senin Garashi, ha, I think I should remember that. It might come in handy, Naruto thought. Naruto made a T-seal as he saw Sasuke get out of the water. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said as 4 clones appeared. They separated into the forest and Naruto found Kakashi had disappeared. Damn it, I lost track of him, Naruto thought. Naruto watched as Sasuke ran into the forest looking for Kakashi. He felt Sakura run through the bushes after Sasuke. Naruto sat down and waited. Meanwhile, I got to find Sasuke. I hope Sensei didn't get him first, Sakura thought. She soon came and found Kakashi reading his book. Found you, she thought. Sakura behind you, Kakashi said. He put his hands in a seal and leaves started to rise up. After everything stopped, Sakura looked around for Kakashi. Sasuke appeared with kunai in his arms and legs. Help me, Sasuke said. Tears started to form in her eyes as she stared. She let out a loud scream and fainted. Maybe I overdid it, Kakashi said, but she should have noticed if it's real or not, he finished. After hearing Sakura scream, Naruto was on the move in her direction. He ran and came to see Sasuke and Kakashi staring at each other. Let's see what Sasuke can do, Naruto thought. Sasuke crouched down and threw several kunai at Kakashi. He jumped to the side, dodging them. There's no use in just using normal attacks, Kakashi said. Sasuke smirked and threw another kunai. It flew toward and cut a rope. A trap, Kakashi said as he slid along the ground. He jumped again and the kunai hit a tree. Sasuke appeared behind him and tried to kick him with his left foot. Kakashi blocked and grabbed his leg. Sasuke threw a punch with his right arm only for it to be caught. Sasuke brought his other leg around and brought his foot down for a kick. Kakashi blocked with his forearm as Sasuke reached for the bell. Kakashi jumped back as Sasuke touched it. What a guy. I can't read Flirting Paradise while fighting him, Kakashi thought. At this time Sakura woke up. She jumped up remembering what happened. Sasuke-kun. Don't die and leave me behind. Where are you? Sakura yelled. I guess she's okay, Naruto thought. I admit you're good, Kakashi said. As he finished, Sasuke started doing hand seals. He ended with horse and tiger and inhaled deeply. Kaden. Gukaku no jutsu, Sasuke said. What? A genin shouldn't have enough charka to do, Kakashi thought. I didn't think he was able to do that. He's better than I thought, Naruto thought. Sasuke put his right hand to his mouth and exhaled. A fireball hit the spot where Kakashi was. After a few seconds he stopped the attack and found Kakashi missing. Where did he go? Behind me. No, above. Where is he? Sasuke said, looking around frantically. Beneath you, Kakashi said. He grabbed Sasuke with his right hand. Wa, Doten. Shinjuzanshu no jutsu, Kakashi said, pulling Sasuke downward as he screamed. Kakashi got up from the ground and crouched down, looking at Sasuke head from the ground. Good try. You talents are exceptional, Kakashi said, standing up and opening his book. He started to walk away as Naruto followed. As soon as they got away from Sasuke, Kakashi stopped. Naruto jumped out in front of Kakashi. I was wondering when you would come out, Kakashi said. Sorry, I just had to get you alone. Since we already failed the test, I thought I could test some of my skills against you, Naruto said, getting into his taijutsu stance and started jumping slightly back and forward. So you know, huh? Well, let's see what you got, Kakashi said, not looking up from his book. Naruto's arms and legs glowed white as his gauntlets and shin guards appeared. Kakashi's eye widened as he saw his gauntlets. Naruto disappeared and reappeared in front of Kakashi, quickly catching him off guard. His gauntlets shined as he threw a quick jab. Kakashi jumped back, barely dodging the attack. What was that? He wasn't that fast before, Kakashi thought, putting away his book. What a weird taijutsu stance, he thought. It seems like you're going to take me seriously. Well, that's good, Naruto said. His gauntlets and shin guards started to glow. That makes it so much easier to let loose, Naruto said lowly. He leapt forward, attacking again with furry punches and kicks. What is this? All I can see is the light from his gauntlets and shin guards. It's hard to tell where he's actually aiming at, Kakashi thought. He continued to dodge the attacks, not realizing that a hand is reaching up to his belt. Kakashi felt something touch his leg and he jumped back. He started in shock, seeing another Naruto come from a shadow. 3 more Narutos appeared from the forest and surrounded Kakashi. All the clones ran at him and attacked. Damn, when did he do the Kage Bunshin no jutsu? Kakashi thought, dodging their attacks. After 2 minutes, Kakashi had dispelled all the clones. Naruto got back into his taijutsu stance as the clock rang. He turned his head toward the cloak, stopped moving. He made a ram seal and his gauntlets and shin guards disappeared. Kakashi stared at the fox container. Shall we go? Narashi said, pulling out his book. Who the hell is he? No new genin should be that fast. I wonder if he was holding back or not. I'll have to find out later, Kakashi thought. They walked in silence until they came to the post. They waited there until Sasuke and Sakura came out of the forest. Sasuke was glaring at Naruto for what he did. They sat down next to the post on the side of Naruto and looked at Kakashi. Well, none of you need to return to the Ninja Academy, Kakashi said. Sasuke smirked as Sakura sighed in relief. You should stop being ninja altogether, Kakashi said in a cold voice. Sasuke and Sakura widened their eyes. You didn't get the how meaning of the test, Kakashi said. What meaning? I thought we only had to get a bell, Sakura said. The meaning of the test was teamwork, Naruto said. Sasuke and Sakura stared at him. We lack teamwork. You Sasuke-san decided you could do it by yourself instead of helping me when I asked. You Sakura-san only cared about Sasuke-san and wouldn't even listen to my request. And me, I just decided to watch instead of assisting either of you when you needed help, Naruto explained. Kakashi nodded and began to walk away. Kakashi-sensei, wait, give us another chance, Sakura said. Yeah, I can't like this, stop me, Sasuke said. And you, Naruto? Kakashi said. Yeah, I think we can do better, Naruto said calmly. Okay, since all 3 of you are agreed, you can try again after lunch. But Sakura, you get tied to the post and get no lunch since she didn't help either of you, he said. Kakashi walked over and tied Sakura to the middle post. If either of you two gives her some of your food and you'll be severely punished, Kakashi said and walked off. Sasuke started eating as Naruto turned away from them. He pulled down his mask and started eating. After they could no longer see Kakashi, Sakura's stomach growled. She blushed from embarrassment as Naruto looked back. Naruto stood up and offered her some food. Naruto, you will get in trouble, Sakura said. So, better to get in trouble together than alone, Naruto said. Wait, duh. She stopped as Naruto shoved his chopsticks holding rice in her mouth. He fed her as Sasuke looked at them. Naruto, you need to eat too. I don't want you slowing the team down, Sasuke said, putting his food out. At that moment Kakashi appeared angry. You fed her, prepare for your punishment, Kakashi said, starting some had seals. If we would have let her starve, then what kind of friends would we be? Naruto said calmly. She's our teammate, we act as one, Sasuke added. Sakura looked from Naruto to Sasuke. You, pass, Kakashi said. Huh? Sasuke and Sakura said together. You three are the first to actually act like a team. In the past I had blockheads that who listened to what I said. Ninja must look underneath the underneath. In the ninja world, those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their friends are worse than trash, Kakashi said. Now starting tomorrow you are Team 7 and we will be doing missions together, Kakashi said happily. Yeah, we passed, Sakura yelled as Naruto and Sasuke nodded their heads. Now you are dismissed, Kakashi said, walking off. Naruto untied Sakura from the pole before turning. She bowed, thanking him before all three of them started to walk away. Hey, Naruto, can I speak with you? Kakashi asked. He nodded and came to Kakashi. After Sasuke and Sakura was out of sight, they spoken. Is there a problem, Hitaki-san? Naruto asked. Please call me Kakashi, Kakashi said. Now about before, what kind of gauntlets and shin guards were those? I never have seen some like them, Kakashi asked. I made them, Naruto replied. He made them, huh? Kakashi thought, nodding his head. Next, is there someone who is secretly training you? Kakashi asked. No, as you know I am the vessel of the Kyuubi no Yoko, so not many adult ninja would come near me unless they were trying to kill me, so I had to train myself, Naruto explained. So he knows about the Kyuubi, Kakashi thought. Okay, the last thing is I would like to see your face, after all I am your teacher, Kakashi said. I guess I could trust him. He seems okay, Naruto thought. Naruto nodded and took off his hood, revealing his blonde spike hair. He removed his face mask and showed him all of his face. Well, now I know that he's actually Naruto, Kakashi thought. I see why you hide your face. You're afraid of having a whole lot of fangirls chasing you, Kakashi said, smiling. He's the second person who said I would have fangirls, Naruto thought. Okay, I'll see you later, Kakashi said, disappearing in a puff of smoke. Naruto put on his hood and masked and made a ram seal. He disappeared in a swirl of light, returning home. Hokage office. You finally show up, Kakashi, Asuma said. Yeah, Kakashi said. So how did they do? The Hokage asked. Well, Team 7 passed, Kakashi said. Everyone's eyes widened in surprise. They need a lot of help on teamwork, but they got the basics down. Sakura needs help in her training since she seems to chase after Sasuke all the time. Sasuke is arrogant but got exceptional skills to back it up. Naruto, he polite, smart and has some skill, Kakashi said. Good, you all are dismissed, the Hokage said. Everyone left the room except Kakashi. Is there a problem, Kakashi? The Hokage asked. Well, it's about Naruto, Kakashi asked. What is it? The third said. Meanwhile, Naruto walked through the apartment looking for Kyrie. I guess she's out, Naruto said. He walked to the kitchen and grabbed him something to drink. I need some rest, Naruto thought. He fell asleep a few minutes later. Naruto woke up suddenly, keeping his eyes closed. He felt something on his chest before it pushed him. He opened his eyes to see Kyrie bending down over him. Hey, Naruto said and yawned. Hi, you shouldn't just go to sleep in the afternoon, Kyrie said. Naruto sat up and looked her over. She wore a dark red shirt and black shorts that came to her knees. She had blue wristbands on and had blue ninja slippers. I know, Naruto replied lowly. Then we could go do something? Kyrie asked. Yeah, but first something to eat, Naruto said. Okay, Kyrie replied. Alright, let's go, Naruto said as he smirked under his mask. They left the apartment and walked down the street towards Ichiraku's ramen shop. After 2 minutes they arrived and sat down. Hey Naruto. Hey Kyrie, the old man said. Hello, they said in unison. So what can I get for my two favorite customers? The old man said. Pork flavor ramen, Naruto said. Beef flavor for me please, Kyrie said. Alright, coming right up, he said, starting to cook ramen. So did you pass the test? Kyrie said. Naruto looked at her with a raised eyebrow while he tilted his head a little. He, of course you did. I mean, how hard was it? She asked, scratching the back of her head. It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, Naruto replied. Why wasn't it? Kyrie asked. Working with the Uchiha and Haruno proved difficult to work with. Naruto said. Our test was to get a bell from the Junin Kakashi Hitaki. Since there was only two we separated, I figured out that the real test was for us to work together. I tried to acquire their help, but Sakura, for all her intelligence, proved to be ignorant of others except the Uchiha, and said person thought he had not only the ability but the experience to take on Hitaki. Naruto explained. So what happened? Kyrie said as the old man placed two bowls on the counter. Naruto took off his mask and reached for some chopsticks. They grabbed the choke sticks and broke them apart. Itadakimasu, they said as they started eating. So continue, Kyrie said. After I first tried to acquire their help but failed, I went to see how good Kakashi was. He dodged my attacks and ended up behind me. He attacked with his Senin Garashi. I used a Kawarimi no Jutsu to switch places with Sasuke, Naruto said. What's a Senin Garashi? Kyrie asked. Well, it's basically just a super ass poke, Naruto said in a casual tone as he continued to eat. Kyrie started to imagine what happened. She froze trying to but failed. After a few minutes Naruto had finished 3 bowls while Kyrie was still laughing. After she stopped laughing, she noticed Naruto was on his 5th bowl. She quickly finished her bowl and stopped Naruto from ordering another. Naruto paid for the meal and they left. Kyrie, so what are we going to do? Naruto asked. Training, Kyrie replied. Hey, continue. What happened after Sasuke got the Senin Garashi? Kyrie asked. They walked down to a training ground as Naruto told her what happened earlier that day. After 10 minutes they arrived at a training ground. They both stood away from each other in fighting stances. Don't hold back, Kyrie said. I won't, Naruto said, pulling down his mask. They both rushed toward each other. Kyrie jumped and brought her leg around towards Naruto's head. Naruto ducked and slid under her. As she landed, he rushed and threw a punch. She blocked it and jumped back. Naruto got into his fighting stance as Kyrie got into a defensive one. He ran at her and threw a fury of punches. She blocked each punch with the back of her hands. He's a little slower than usual, Kyrie thought as she started her counterattack. She ducked and tried to sweep his legs. Naruto jumped and came down with an axe kick. She dodged by rolling away and rushed at him. She threw a punch which Naruto caught. He threw her and she flipped and landed on her feet. Naruto ran at her and aimed a kick at her side. She blocked, but the force of the blow caused her to slide a few feet. He ran at her again and threw a punch downward. She jumped out the way and dashed at him when she landed. She jumped in the air and swung her leg. Konoha Senpu, she yelled. He ducked, dodging the attack. Got to find out where she learned that later, Naruto thought, making a mental note. He jumped back and started doing hand seals as she landed. Kyrie recognized the seals and did some of her own. Kaden. Karyu Enden, Naruto said as he inhaled. Sweden. Suijinheki, Kyrie said, inhaling too. Naruto shot a fire stream as she blew out water that twisted around her. The fire collided with the water and created steam. As the steam cleared out, Naruto saw Kyrie had started doing new seals. Naruto did seals at a fast pace. Kaden. Kahanote no Jutsu, Kyrie said, inhaling. Kaden. Kabukafu no Jutsu, Naruto said, inhaling. Kyrie shot a stream of fire and Naruto shot a big fire blast toward the phoenix. They collided and mixed together. After a few seconds the attack burst and shot flames in all directions. Kyrie dodged the flames as Naruto started so seals. Sweden. Mizu Shoheki no Jutsu, Naruto said. Water came from the air and formed a barrier around Naruto. The flames hit the barrier and become steam. After the flames dissipated, Naruto let go of the barrier. He looked around the terrain, seeing Kyrie had disappeared. She's under me, Naruto thought, sensing her chakra. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said quietly. In 3 puffs of smoke 3 more Narutos appeared. They separated, leaving a clone in the middle. Doden. Shinjuzanshu no Jutsu, Kyrie said, pulling him down. Naruto and his 2 clones started doing hand seals. Kyrie came up to her surprise, saw 3 Narutos. Shit, she thought. Sweden. Suiryu Bakufu no Jutsu, Naruto said, inhaling. He shot water out of his mouth in the form of a dragon. She jumped in the air dodging the attack. Naruto stopped his jutsu and jumped after her. He came up to her height and threw a punch. She blocked and grabbed his wrist. He grabbed her arm and tossed her to the ground. She hit the ground and rolled. She drew a shuriken and threw it at Naruto. She made a few hand seals. Shuriken, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Kyrie said. The shuriken became 20 and headed full speed toward Naruto. Naruto replied doing hand seals. Kaza Sanpo no Jutsu, Naruto said. He flipped and jumped up dodging the shuriken. He landed on the floor and stared at Kyrie. You lose. Naruto said. What? Why? Kyrie yelled. She felt a kunai touch her neck and turned her head. Damn, she whispered seeing one of his clones. Naruto walked over as the clones dissipated. You forgot about my clones. Naruto said. No I didn't. I just that I didn't sense your clone walking over. You know you're hard to sense when sneaking up on people. At least when you want to stay hidden. Kyrie said with a pout. Fine, you get away with your mistake this time, Naruto said pulling up his mask. Thanks, Naruto-sama, Kyrie said smiling. See kid, I told you she wouldn't be mad at you, Kyuubi said. Mad at me for what? Oh shit I forgot, Naruto thought. Kyrie, Naruto said. Yeah, Kyrie replied. About yesterday. Sorry for not knocking, Naruto said. It's alright, she said waving her hand dismissively. Kyrie, where did you learn the Konoha Senpu? Naruto asked. I saw some guy in green spandex use it on his student. Kyrie replied. I going home, I need to get cleaned up, she said. Naruto nodded as she made a seal. She disappeared in a twirl of blossom petals. Hey Kyuubi, how'd I increase my weights? Naruto thought. Just add charka into the weights, Kyuubi said. Naruto focused some charka into his wristbands and leg warmers. He felt the weights he wore become heavier as he slouched. Naruto started to run slowly toward the village. After he arrived there, he turned toward the gate. Hey Kyuubi, the amount of charka I put in determines how heavier it gets, right? Naruto asked. Yes. Kyuubi said, okay, just checking. Naruto thought, starting to run faster. He kept silent as he reached the gate. He turned to his right and started running along the wall. After a few hours he had done 30 laps around Konoha and was returning home. Hey Kyuubi, do you know an advanced way to increase this training? Naruto thought. Yeah, gravity seals, but I'll put them on you later, Kyuubi said. How long do I have to wait? Naruto asked. I'll put it on you once you get used to 50 pounds per weight. At this moment you have about 30 pounds per weight. With your training schedule it should be in a few weeks, maybe less, Kyuubi replied. Naruto ran towards his home at a fast pace. After 10 minutes his was at his door. He opened it and walked in. He quietly closed and locked it. He moved over to the couch not making a sound and laid down. He fell asleep thinking about a new jutsu. Hey kid, wake up, Kyuubi said. Damn, I hate being his alarm, he thought. Wake up, Kyuubi said, getting annoyed. Wake the fuck up, Kyuubi yelled. Damn, I up alright, Naruto thought. Naruto got up and started his morning routine. After 30 minutes Naruto was finished. Naruto wore black pants and a black shirt. He had on his black mask, red wristbands and leg warmers, a kunai pouch on each leg, and his black cloak. He made himself a sandwich and left the apartment in a hurry. He came to Team 7 training area. He took out the scrolls that held Dawning Light and Oblivion. He opened the scrolls and bit his thumb. He ran it over the scrolls and in a puff of smoke the two swords appeared. He grabbed both of them and stabbed them into the ground. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said, making a T-like seal. Two clones appeared next to Naruto and walked out from the line. After they were far enough they turned around to face him. Naruto drew his blades from the ground. The blades are still too heavy for me to wield with one hand, but this is just a test, Naruto thought. His clones drew two kunai and threw it at him. Naruto lifted his white blade to block. The kunai defected off the blade. Naruto lifted Dawning Light slowly and put the blunt side of it over his right shoulder. He slowly lifted Oblivion and slanted it in front of him. Let's go, Naruto said. His two clones rushed him with a kunai drawn. The first clone came at Naruto and tried to kick him. Naruto sidestepped the clone and tried to swing Dawning Light toward the clone. The sword went toward the clone's legs. The clone dodged easily and jumped back. Okay, I think I have to use charka now, Naruto thought, putting the blade back on his shoulder. He focused some charka into his hands and lifted the other blade. They are still heavy but at least easily, Naruto thought. Naruto ran at his clones and started to attack. He swung Oblivion upward at his first clone only to have it dodge. The second clone came and tried to stab Naruto. He ducked and brought Dawning Light downward. The other clone came and blocked with his kunai. Naruto swung Oblivion toward the clone that was blocking with his kunai. The free clone came and blocked Oblivion. Naruto kept his blades locked with their kunai, using more force trying to break their guard. After a few minutes, Naruto gave up and jumped back. He moved his left arm towards his right side to where Oblivion's blade was behind him and moved his right arm to his left side to where Dawning Light's blade was behind him. Naruto ran at the clones and swung the blades in a wide arc. They both jumped out the way and threw two shuriken. Naruto blocked them as the clones started doing hand seals. Naruto lifted the blades up and started putting charka into the swords. Kaden. Karyu Enden, the clones said, inhaling. Soniku Yeba, Naruto said as the clones blew out a stream of fire. Naruto brought both swords downward, sending a sonic wave toward the clones' attacks. The sonic wave hit the fire, caused them to split in half. The sonic waves hit the clones, destroying them. He walked back to his original spot and grabbed the scrolls. He resealed his sword and left toward his meeting spot. He made a seal and disappeared in a swirl of light. Naruto reappeared on a roof of a house next to a river with a small bridge extending from one side to the other. On the bridge were two people about his age. Must be Sakura and Sasuke, Naruto thought. Naruto jumped off the roof and landed on the ground. He walked silently toward the bridge. He arrived there without anyone noticing. He sat down and watched as Sakura tried to woo Sasuke while he had his eyes closed, probably tuning her out. Naruto shook his head while taking out a kunai. He started to focus charka into his right hand while letting the kunai rest in his opened palm. The kunai started to levitate and stopped about 5 inches above his hand. The kunai started to slowly spin clockwise above his hand. He took out another kunai and did the same with his left hand. Both kunai were spinning in his hand as he concentrated. After 20 minutes he started to spin them counterclockwise. Sasuke tried to ignore Sakura, but it was getting too hard for him. He looked around for anyone when he noticed Naruto spinning kunai above his hands. What the? When did he get here? Sasuke thought, glaring. Sakura saw his glare and looked back to see Naruto sitting down. Naruto, don't sneak up on us, Sakura yelled. Naruto lost his concentration and dropped the kunai. He turned to her, narrowing his eyes slightly. There was no reason to yell when I sitting so close to you, Naruto said calmly. Damn, now I have to start all over, Naruto thought. Naruto, exactly when did you get here? Sakura asked. I got here a few minutes ago, Naruto said, lying. Well, maybe you should have said good morning when you came, Sakura said. Okay. Next time I'll say good morning, Naruto said. These two need to pay more attention. I've been here for 20 minutes and they didn't even notice me. I got stuck with some real weakling, Naruto thought. He picked up his kunai and put them in his pouch. They waited 2 hours for their sensei. I'm going to torch his ass if he doesn't appear in 2 minutes, Naruto thought. At that moment Kakashi appeared. Yo, he said. Sensei, you're late, Sakura screamed and Naruto and Sasuke glared. Sorry, I ran across an old lady with bags and she asked me for help, Kakashi said. Lair, Sakura screamed. Damn, she's loud, Naruto thought. Okay, let's go to the Hokage office for our missions, Kakashi said. He took out his orange book and started walking. After 5 minutes they arrived at the Hokage office. Hello everyone, the Hokage said. He was sitting in the middle of the room with some Chunin and Junin sitting near him. Hello Hokage-sama, Kakashi and Sakura said. Hey old man, Naruto said. Naruto, show the Hokage some respect, Sakura scolded. Sure, so what kind of missions do you have for us? Naruto said. You'll find out a little later, Hokage said, smiling. He handed Kakashi a scroll and they left the room. So Kakashi, what's the mission? Sakura asked. We have to paint a house, Kakashi replied. What? That's no ninja mission, Sakura said. It's a D-rank mission, Naruto said. That's correct, Kakashi said. In 10 minutes they came to a blue house with a forest near the back. This house doesn't look like it needs to be painted, Sakura said. You're right, but a mission is a mission, Kakashi said. This can't even be called a mission, Sasuke said. Stop complaining. We'll get better missions soon enough, Naruto said emotionlessly. HN, Sasuke replied. They walked up to the house and Kakashi knocked on the door. The door opened to reveal an old man wearing a brown shirt and blue jeans. "Hello, we're here for the mission you requested," Kakashi said. "Okay, follow me please," the old man replied. He walked to the back of his house as they followed. They came to a shed. He opened the door and pulled out some paint and paint brushes. He set them on the floor and came to Kakashi. "I'll leave you to your work now," the old man said. The old man walks past Kakashi and saw Naruto. "That's the demon brat. He's the only one who wears a cloak like that," the old man thought. He glared at Naruto as he walked past. "Damn brat," the man whispered as he passed him. Naruto narrowed his eyes and walked forward. "Bastard," Naruto thought. "Damn moral. You should have ripped him apart," Kyrie said angrily. "What good would that do?" Naruto thought. "It would put fear into their hearts," Kyrie said. "You just want to see some bloodshed," Naruto thought. "Yeah, that too," Kyrie said smiling. "Hopeful we'll get some action soon," Naruto thought. Yeah, Kyrie said. Naruto watched as Kakashi opened the paint cans and handed Sakura and Sasuke a paintbrush and can. "Alright, you two to the front," Kakashi said. "Hi," Sakura said smiling. "Good, Sasuke and me will be alone," Sakura thought. "Cha, this is my chance," Inner Sakura yelled. They took the paint and walked off toward the front of the house. "Here, Naruto," Kakashi said, handing him a paintbrush and can. "Is there any more?" Naruto asked. "I think so," Kakashi said. He went in the shed and came with 4 paintbrushes and a paint can. "Thanks," Naruto said, grabbing the brushes. Kakashi shrugged and took out his orange book. He went and sat down near a tree reading the book. Naruto put the paintbrushes down and made a T-like seal. "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu," Naruto said. 5 clones appeared in puffs of smoke. Each clone took a brush and picked up a paintbrush and started painting the house. The real Naruto went over to where Kakashi was and sat next to him. "Hey Kakashi, how many times did you read that book?" Naruto asked. "About 15 times, he said. "It's that good?" Naruto asked. "Yep," Kakashi said. "Can I read?" Naruto asked. "You're a little too young," Kakashi said. "So I can guess it's a perverted book," Naruto said. "You could say that," Kakashi said. "I wonder why no girl beat him up for reading that book in public," Naruto thought. After 10 minutes of waiting and hearing Kakashi's giggles, he stood up. "What's the problem?" Kakashi asked. "Nothing, I'm just bored," Naruto said. He left Kakashi and started walking into the forest. He walked for 5 minutes and came into a clearing. "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu," he said, making a T-like sign. 2 clones appeared and disappeared for sight. Naruto took off his cloak and placed it on a tree branch. "Alright, begin," Naruto said. 2 shuriken came flying at him from his right and left sides. He ducked as the shuriken came over him. 2 kunai came at him from his front and back as the shuriken hit a tree shuriken. Naruto jumped, dodging the 2 kunai. Enough with the warm-ups, he thought. He landed on the floor making a T-seal. "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu," Naruto said. 20 shadow clones appeared and jumped away from him. The next mom showered by shuriken and kunai. He started to dodge, getting cut on his forearm and across his chest. He kept dodging for 10 minutes, every minute getting hit by a shuriken and kunai. Meanwhile, Sasuke and Sakura walked toward Kakashi holding paint cans and a brush. "We're done, Sensei," Sakura said, wishing she had more time with Sasuke. "What took you so long?" "Naruto was done about 10 minutes ago," Kakashi said, pointing at the house. "So Sasuke-kun could have done it faster," Sakura said. "Uh-huh," Kakashi said, not paying attention. "So where's the dope?" Sasuke said. "He went off somewhere. I'll go find him," Kakashi said, getting up. He walked off in the direction Naruto went off. After 3 minutes of walking, he heard the sound of kunai and shuriken hitting objects. "Sounds like fighting. I should hurry," he thought. He said as he started running. The other 2 followed quickly. With Naruto, Kit, Kyrie started. "Sorry Kyrie, I don't have time to speak right now," Naruto said, dodging 9 kunai. "Damn, why in the hell did I pick today to pack extra kunai and shuriken?" he thought, getting hit with another kunai. "I had enough of this," he thought, taking out a kunai. Naruto started to spin, deflect each of the projectiles with his kunai. He took out some more kunai and threw them at his clones as he continued to spin. He stopped spinning after seeing 5 white clouds and hearing them turn into smoke. 5 more kunai flew at him from the right side. He looked toward the direction of the house, sensing a charka signals as he dodged. Shit, so that's what Kyrie was about to say, Naruto thought, jumping to his cloak. He grabbed it and put it on as 3 shuriken came at him. He jumped in the air and pulled his hood over his head while taking out more 5 kunai. He threw that at his clones. He saw puffs of smokes and took out some shuriken. He tossed them behind him and saw 3 more puffs of smoke. He took out 5 shuriken and 2 kunai and jumped in the air. He threw them in front, behind, to his right and left sides. He saw them disappear in smoke. He landed just as his sensei arrived. What happened? Kakashi asked, looking at the shuriken and kunai around the area. Just some training, Naruto replied as all the weapons disappeared in a puff of smoke. Must been with shadow clones, Kakashi thought. He looked over him, seeing all the slashes that had been caused while blood dripped from his arm. Come here, Kakashi said, taking out some bandages. Kakashi started to wrap his arms as he saw it heal. Must be the Kyuubi's charka leaking out, he thought. Damn it, Kyuubi. You sure picked a bad time to heal my arms, Naruto thought. You should be grateful, kid, Kyuubi said, yawning. You could have waited a while longer, you know, Naruto thought. Great, the furball fell asleep, Naruto thought. You should be more careful, Kakashi said as he moved to the other arm. After he finished, Naruto fixed his cloak to hide his clothing. Kakashi started to walk in the direction of the house as Naruto followed. So what training were you doing? Kakashi asked. Speed training. I used some shadow clones to throw kunai and shuriken at me. It really good training, you should try it, Naruto said, smiling evilly. I think not, Kakashi said, taking out his book. They arrived back at the house after 5 minutes. They saw Sasuke and Sakura waiting. Finally we can leave, Sakura said. Damn, they came back too early, she thought. Yeah, let's go get our next mission, Kakashi said. They walked to the front of the house and said goodbye to Old Man. They walked toward the Hokage's tower. Naruto listened to the perverted giggle of his sensei and Sakura trying to woo Sasuke. This is going to be boring, Naruto thought. Then go train, the fox said. How without them noticing, Naruto thought. Simple, tell him you're going ahead and before you reach the tower, create a shadow clone and let it take your place, Kyuubi said. That's actually a good plan, Naruto thought. Kakashi sensei, I have something to do, I'll meet you there, okay, Naruto said. He jumped on the roof and sped ahead before getting an answer. After 3 minutes he was standing on a building near the Hokage's tower. Naruto jumped in an ally and made a T-seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he said. In a puff of smoke a clone appeared and walked to the office. Now I can try on, Naruto thought, making a seal. In a swirl of light Naruto disappeared. He appeared in Team 7 training field and made a seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said. In a large puff of smoke 3 clones appeared next to him. He walked out and turned to face them. Hey Kyuubi, when a shadow clone is destroyed the information it gathers is transferred to the user, right? Naruto thought. Yes, Kyuubi said. Okay, I got a plan, Naruto thought. Alright, you two focus on perfecting this jutsu, Naruto said, throwing a scroll to the first one of his clones that's in front of him and pointing to the one on the clone's left. And you help me with my swordplay, he said, pointing to the remaining clone. The 4 clones went off to do their training while Naruto took out his scrolls. He opened the scrolls and bit his thumb hard enough to draw blood. He wiped the blood on the scrolls and his swords appeared. He handed Oblivion to his clone and strapped Dawning Light diagonally to his back. His clone did the same. Oblivion. The clone and Naruto turned away and took 10 steps before turning to face each other. He drew Oblivion and held it slided toward Naruto in front of him. Naruto parted his legs and had his left arm hanging down while his right hand was touching the hilt of his blade. Naruto and his clone charged at each other. When Naruto was 5 steps away he started to draw his blade. They ran past each other as they swung their blades. The blades sparked when they collided. Naruto turned around and charged as his clone turned around. He swung his sword aiming for the clone's right arm. The clone jumped above him and did a helm breaker. Naruto dodged the strike by rolling away. The clone lifted his sword and ran at Naruto. Naruto blocked each attack. Naruto jumped at an attack aimed at his feet. Naruto swung his sword at his clone while in the air. The clone sidestepped the attack and swung at Naruto's side. He blocked the attack and spun around and attacked his clone. The clone jumped back, barely dodging the blow. The clone charged at Naruto and started to attack. Naruto blocked each attack. After 2 hours of this, Naruto and his clone stood across the field panting. Time to end this, Naruto said. Naruto shifted his stance to where the blade of dawning light was slided behind him and he held the hilt with both hands. They realized what he was going to do and prepared to block. Ryu no Mai. Tsukai Keita, Naruto said. He ran forward at an amazing speed. Naruto came to his clone and swung his sword hard upward. Dawning light collided with oblivion, sending the clone in the air. Naruto jumped after him and stared, slashing at him from all different angles at a fast speed. The clone managed to block the 20 hits before Naruto brought his sword downward. Naruto hit oblivion downward and started a downward spin. Naruto spun 3 times. The clone managed to block the second attack but was hit by the next. The clone poof away as Naruto fell to the ground. Naruto landed on his feet and caught oblivion when it came down. Naruto walked over to his sheaths and sheathed his blades. He sealed them in their scrolls and put them in his kunai pouch. He walked over to a tree and sat down. He looked up at the sky and started remembering the past. Flashback: a 8-year-old Naruto was walking through a forest. He wore a red shirt with a spiral in the front and black pants with black shinobi sandals. As he walked, he heard the sound of a flute. Whoever is playing it is really good, Naruto thought. Naruto silently followed the sound until he saw a river. He hid in some bushes and scanned the river area. He saw a teenage girl sitting down with her hands on something near her mouth. Naruto studied her as she played. After a few minutes she suddenly stopped and "Loru, you can come out now," she said. Naruto got up and walked over to her. She turned to him and smiled. "Did you think I wouldn't notice?" she asked. "Nope," Naruto replied. He looked at her and studied her body. She wore a blue sleeveless shirt and black pants rolled up to her knee. Her feet are in the river swaying. She has long blue hair that went down to the small of her back. Her left eye was blue while her right eye was covered by a long bang that came slightly past her nose. She had on red wristband on each arm and wore a necklace with a red crystal on it. What's that?" Naruto asked, pointing to her hands. She looked down and saw what he was pointing at. "This is a special type of flute called an ocarina," she replied. She lifted the ocarina back to her mouth and started playing. Naruto listened as she played a beautiful melody. After a few minutes of playing, she stopped and looked at Naruto. "You play really well," Naruto said. "Thanks," she replied, smiling. "Who taught you how to play?" Naruto asked. "My mother taught me when I was about your age," she said. "Mother, huh?" Naruto thought, frowning. She noticed his look and patted him on the head. "Would you like to learn how to play?" she asked. "Really, you'll teach me?" he asked energetically. "Of course," she replied. "Then I'll be happy to learn," Naruto said. "Good," she replied. She handed him her ocarina and showed him how to hold it. End flashback. "Hey, snap out of it," Naruto heard. He shook his head and saw his clones. "We finished the training," he said, holding out the scroll. Naruto took the scroll and put it in his pouch. "Good, now you two dispel yourselves," Naruto said. Both clones nodded and made a tiger seal. They disappeared in a puff of smoke as Naruto got up. Kasumi, he thought. "Kid, stop dwelling in the past. It's not good for you," Kyrie said. "I know," Naruto replied, sighing. "Kid, just don't think about her too much. Remembering her will do more harm than good right now," Kyrie said. "Yeah," Naruto said. Naruto made a tiger seal with his hands and disappeared in a swirl of light. Naruto appeared in his house and slowly walked to his room. He grabbed the doorknob quietly and began to turn it. He stopped when he heard giggling. "What is she doing?" Naruto thought. Naruto slowly opened the door enough so he can walk in and looked into the room. He sees Kyrie lying on the bed blushing with an orange book. He slowly walks in and looks at what she is reading. "Icha Icha Paradise," Naruto thought. "Oh," she said and giggled. Kyrie," Naruto said. Kyrie jumped up and fell off the bed. "Naruto-sama, I didn't hear you come in," she said, hiding the book. "What book were you reading?" Naruto asked. She said, looking away. Naruto held out his hand motioning for the book. Kyrie looked at his hand and brought the book out. She gave it to him with a defeated look. Naruto sat on the bed and opened the book. He started read it as Kyrie sat next to him. "How exactly did you get this perverted book?" Naruto said as he turned the page. "Well, I just used a henge," she said. "Really?" Naruto said, not really paying attention. Naruto kept his eyes glued to the book, reading line to line. After a few minutes, Naruto got up and closed the book. Kyrie, this book is not proper for someone of our age. Naruto said. I will dispose of this right now. Naruto finished. He got up, ignoring the protest from Kyrie. After he was outside the house, he put the book in his kunai pouch. Let's see what my clone is doing, Naruto thought. Naruto jumped up to the roof of the apartment building and jumped to the next house. After a few minutes he arrived at the administered office. He saw his teammates walk inside the office as his clone waited outside. He jumped down in front of his clone and quickly dispelled it. He suddenly knew everything that his clone did with his teammates. 5D ranked completed already, huh? He thought. Naruto walked into the building and quickly went after his teammates. Konoha Senpu. Leaf Whirlwind Kaden. Karyu Enden. Fire Release. Fire Dragon Fire Bullet Jutsu. Shuriken. Cage Bunshin no Jutsu. Shadow Shuriken Jutsu. Soniku Yaiba. Sonic Blade Sweden. Suishuheki no Jutsu. Water Release. Water Barrier Jutsu. Doden. Shinjuzanshu no Jutsu. Earth Release. Suicidal Beheading Jutsu. Kaden. Kahanote no Jutsu. Fire Release. Fire Blaze Jutsu. Sweden. Suijinheki. Water Encampment Wall Kaden. Kabukafu no Jutsu. Fire Release. Fire Blast Jutsu. Cage Bunshin no Jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu Ryu no Mai. Tsukai Kata. Dance of the Dragon, Sky Style. Naruto watched the stars from his roof, thinking random thoughts. It has been 2 months and 2 weeks since Team 7 had started their D-ranked missions and Naruto skipped out on most of them. He remembered how at the end of second week of the first month he had the gravity seals put on him. Flashback, alright, I'm used to 50 pounds, so will you put gravity seal on now? Naruto thought. Fine, but you must not take them off unless I tell you to. Okay. So that means even if you are getting your ass kicked you have to ask me first, Kyuubi said. Yeah, Naruto thought. Okay, here we go. Kyuubi replied. Naruto looked at both his arms and saw marks appear. Before he could check the rest of his body, they disappeared and he fell right on his face, making an impression on the ground. Naruto tried moving to get up but couldn't push himself up. What the hell? Naruto thought. Naruto charged Charka into his hands and legs and tried again, only to get an inch off the ground, then to fall back. Ha, 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 ha. You're not getting up anytime soon, but when you do, run 100 laps around Konoha. Kyuubi said, laughing. Ah, fuck you, you fucking stuffed animal. He thought, only to receive laughter as a response. End flashback. Damn, I wish I had a container who actually went to sleep, Kyuubi said, annoyed. Just because I don't sleep doesn't mean you don't have to, Naruto thought as he took out a red ocarina and started to play it. Naruto's hands moved across the holes of the ocarina as he blew, letting out a beautiful melody. He closed his eyes as he played, listening to his own music. He played for 5 minutes with his eyes closed when he felt a presence behind him and stopped playing. He added Charka to his nose and quietly sniffed the air. He started playing the same melody again as he waited for the person to come closer. When he felt the person was in hearing distance, he stopped playing. Can't you say hi like a normal person? Naruto asked. I could, but what would be the fun in that, Naru-chan? She replied. Naruto turned around to see a woman about 167 centimeters. She had purple hair tied in a ponytail with the hair pointing upward, and she had brown eyes. She wore a tan overcoat with a netted bodysuit under it. She also had on a matching tan skirt and shin guards on her legs. Yeah, but what's the point of trying to sneak up on somebody who can smell you? He asked lowly, turning back around. 3, 2, 1. Naruto thought as a kunai whizzed by, cutting his cheek. Did you just say I stink? She asked, as in a dangerous whisper, placing a kunai next to his neck. Anko, I never said you stink. If anything, you smell very good, even without the perfume you're wearing now, Naruto calmly stated. He felt Anko's presence disappear for a second before 2 hands reached out from behind him. They wrapped around him before pulling him back slightly. So what brings you here? Naruto asked as he felt her tongue on his cheek. He glanced at his cheek and watched as her tongue moved ever so slowly up against his wound. He looked forward again as her tongue came down. Just bored, Anko replied, came in a whisper, and she continued licking his wound. So how your mission go? Naruto asked. How did you know? She asked, stopping. Well, you usually come here at least once a week. Even if I'm sleeping, you would wake me up. So when you didn't come, I knew, he explained. Oh, miss me did you? She asked, smiling. Naruto smirked and looked back at the stars. No, not really, he replied. Oh, Naru-chan, you wound me, she said in mock hurt look with her hand over her heart. Naruto at her antics. She licked his cheek one more time and looked at the stars. Oh, before I forget. Congratulations on finally becoming a genin. Maybe we'll get work together, she said smirking. Maybe, it would be fun, Naruto replied. Naruto started to play his ocarina again. Anko listened to his tune quietly for a few minutes before pulling him back some. Naruto stopped playing when he felt two soft mounds on his back. Shit, Naruto thought. He slightly turned his head to see flushed Anko smirking. He opened his mouth to say something but was stopped by her mouth. She forced him to turn his body towards her and fell forward on him, still kissing. His eyes widened a little as her tongue probed his mouth. She broke the kiss and stared at Naruto. You're drunk, Naruto half stated and asked. How didn't I smell it on her, he thought. So, Anko replied, leaning back down for another kiss. Suddenly she jumped back, dodging a kick. He heard Anko growl and used his elbows to sit up a little. He saw the back of Kyrie standing there in a blue nightgown with a sickle in her right hand attached to a long chain that is in her left hand. Snake your regret that, Kyrie said angrily. She ran at Anko, giving Naruto a view-up gown. Naruto dropped back down, looking at the stars. Focus, Naruto. Think pure thoughts, Naruto said. The clash of metal snapped him out of his thoughts. He sat up quickly, seeing Kyrie's jump back while throwing her sickle toward Anko. Anko hit the sickle away with a kunai and jumped toward Kyrie. Kyrie landed while pulling on the chain. Anko ducked, dodging the sickle as it came past her. Kyrie caught it and lunged toward Anko. Anko brought her kunai up and blocked the strike. Kyrie started to force the kunai downward, trying to break her guard. Anko pushed back, glaring at her. Anko tried to sweep her legs, but Kyrie jumped back, dodging it. Anko smirked, raising her right arm. Seneashu, she said. Kyrie threw her sickle again while three snakes flew out of Anko's sleeve toward Kyrie. Naruto suddenly appeared in the middle of both of them with his left hand outstretched toward Kyrie and his right toward Anko. He grabbed the sickle as snakes wrapped around his arm. Can you two stop fighting? Naruto asked in his usually tone. Sure, Anko said, retracting her snakes. Kyrie just muttered something that Naruto didn't catch and pulled on the chain as Naruto let it go. She caught the sickle and glared at Anko. Naruto sighed and sat back down. He looked at the stars once again, listening to his surroundings. He heard Anko sit down on his right and Kyrie on his left. He looked to his right to see Anko smirking at Kyrie and turned to see Kyrie glaring at Anko. Why do they always do this when they are together? Naruto thought. Kid, you just don't understand. Kyuubi replied. Understand what? Naruto thought. He heard Kyuubi grumbled something and mental shrugged. Why are you here anyway? Kyrie asked angrily. Don't touch him, Kyrie snarled. Oh, and why shouldn't I? Anko replied, grabbing him again, still smirking. Because you're old, Kyrie replied. What did you say, you little? Anko started with a glare, standing up. Anko, Naruto said, interrupting her. Yes, Naru-chan, she replied happily. Don't call him that, Kyrie said angrily. I'll call him what I want, Anko said, growled. They started to glare at each other so hard Naruto could make out sparks coming from between them. Why are you out here anyway? Isn't past your bedtime? Anko said, pointing at her. Don't treat me like a little kid, bitch, Kyrie replied angrily. Kyrie, Naruto said, lowly, narrowing his eyes at her. Kyrie looked over to Naruto, seeing his glare. Sorry, she said with her he hung low. Anko snickered, bringing Kyrie's attention back to her. Kyrie growled but kept silent. What's wrong, cat? Got your tongue? Anko asked. Anko, stop it, Naruto said, turning his gaze to her. Anko looked at him and sighed. Fine, fine, she said and sat next to him. You know, sometimes I wish you were a little older, Anko said, pulling him closer. I could guess why, Naruto thought, looking at Kyrie with her head still hung low. He turned back to see Anko staring at the stars. Naruto sighed and pulled Kyrie closer to him. She looked at Naruto happily and grabbed his arm. She leaned her head on his shoulder, smiling. Naruto felt a foreign weight on his other shoulder. He turned and saw Anko with her head on his shoulder. Naruto took out his ocarina and started to play a soft tune. He stopped after 10 minutes and noticed both Anko and Kyrie was sleeping. He smiled and put away his ocarina and made a T-cross seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto thought. Two shadow clones appeared in front of Naruto and picked up the sleeping girl's bridal style. Naruto and his clones disappeared in a swirl of light and reappeared in his apartment. The clone holding Kyrie walked over to his room and the clone holding Anko placed her on the couch. He walked over to a closet and drew a blanket. He walked over to Anko and put it over her. He walked into his room and saw Kyrie being tucked in by his clone. He was about to move when he heard a bark. He looked down to see Yoko staring at him. Naruto bent down with a finger to his mouth. "Shish," Naruto said. He picked up Yoko and carried him to the kitchen. He placed him on the ground and got him some meat from his fridge. He watched as Yoko ate his food happily. "Kid, it's about time to start training him," Kyuubi said. "Are you sure?" Naruto thought. "Yes," Kyuubi said, "but first," Kyuubi finished. Naruto griped his ears in pain. After a few minutes the pain subsided. Naruto removed his hands from his ear only to hear a ringing noise. When the noise stopped he turned looked at Yoko who was staring at him. "Hey, you okay?" Naruto heard. Naruto tilted his head with a confused look. "I made it so you can hear him now," Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded and looked back at Yoko. "Yeah, I'm fine," Naruto said. "You can understand me?" Yoko yipped, tilting his head to the side. "Yeah," Naruto said. He picked Yoko up and walked to the door. "Hey, where we going?" Yoko barked out. "1, don't be so loud. 2, we're going to train," Naruto said lowly as he jumped to the roof. "Wait, how'd I train him?" Naruto thought. "Don't worry about it. I'll tell you when we get to a training spot," Kyuubi said. Naruto charged Charka into his feet and ran toward his team's training round. Once there he put Yoko down and crouched down. "Now what?" Naruto thought. "Just put your hand on his head and I'll do the rest," Kyuubi said. Naruto did what the fox said and placed his hand on Yoko's head. After a few seconds his hand glowed red. "Hey Naruto-sama, what are you?" "Ah!" Yoko yelped. Naruto quickly took his hand off Yoko's head, seeing him in pain. Yoko covered his head with his paws while Naruto got a little closer. "Yoko, you okay?" Naruto asked. Yeah." Yoko barked out, getting up. "Kyuubi care to explain?" Naruto thought. "I just gave him information on using Charka," Kyuubi said. "You know how to use Charka now, right?" Naruto asked. Yoko nodded energetically and started to channel some. "He has a lot for his age," Naruto thought. "What did you expect, he's a fox," Kyuubi said proudly. "Okay, I will first work on your control, then we will start with jutsus, okay?" Naruto said. A few hours later Naruto walked through his door with a tired and battered Yoko who was sleeping. He closed the door and went toward his room. He stopped by the couch and saw that Anko was missing from her spot. He placed Yoko on the couch and went to his room. Upon opening his room door he saw Kyrie sleeping. He turned his head, hearing the shower running. "It seems like Anko is taking a shower," Naruto thought. You should go check on her," Kyuubi suggested. "You are trying to get me to peek on her, aren't you?" Naruto thought. "Pretty much. So do it. You could say it was an accident," Kyuubi said. "No, last time I said that she thought I was lying and started tossing kunai at me," Naruto thought. "That's because she didn't know you, remember? So it may work this time," Kyuubi said. "No," Naruto thought, walking to THB. said. Naruto thought, sitting down next to Yoko. "Gay shit," Kyuubi replied. "Go fuck yourself, you pervert," Naruto replied. "Don't make me have to hurt you, dipshit," Kyuubi growled out. "Like you could, you little bitch," Naruto replied. After he said that he felt a huge pain in his left arm. He grabbed his arm while gritting his teeth. "You were saying," Kyuubi said smugly as the pain subsided. "Son of a bi." "Ah," Naruto thought, feeling pain again. "Insult me again, I dare you. No, double dare you. No, I triple dare you," Kyuubi gloated. Naruto gritted his teeth and keep his mind clear as the pain subsided. "Good," Kyuubi said and started laughing. "You're home," Naruto heard from his side. "Yeah," Naruto said, regaining his composure. He turned to a damp Anko, in all her curvaceous glory, clad only in his red towel, with her hands planted firmly on her hips and her feet shoulder-length apart. Her wet hair was hanging down and framed her face beautifully next to the couch. Naruto eyes widened seeing her. "What the fuck?" Naruto thought as Anko walked to his front, his eyes trailing after her. "You like?" Anko asked huskily as she leaned over, giving Naruto a view of her cleavage. "Keep control," Naruto thought, trying to take his eyes off her body. He forced himself to look into her eyes, blushing a deep shade of red. "Her luscious legs," Kyuubi added, smirking. Naruto eyes trailed down to her legs. "You want to taste her," Kyuubi said. "You want her to taste you as well," Kyuubi continued. Just a little bit more. Naruto's eyes trailed back to her eyes as she got closer. He felt her lips touch his. You want her. You want to feel her soft skin under you, Kyuubi said. He saw her close her eyes and felt her tongue sweep across his lip and slightly parted them, giving her access to his mouth. She smirked and took her chance. He felt her tongue enter his mouth and unconsciously move his tongue to meet hers. Take her. She wants it, Kyuubi said. Naruto closed his eyes and brought his hands up to her back. He drew her in closer to him as she wrapped her arms around him. His hands trailed down her the towel, lightly pulling at it until he got to her backside and let them rest there. He gently squeezed her butt, causing her to moan through their kiss. Master, he heard. He quickly snapped, his eyes opened while letting go of Anko and backing up, breaking the kiss, causing him to fall behind the couch. He started panting, realizing what just happened. Damn, so close, Anko thought, snapping her fingers. Damn, so close, Kyuubi thought. Kyrie quickly ran over to Naruto, checking if he was all right. She turned toward Anko. What the hell, you slut, Kyrie yelled. Shut up and go back to sleep. Anko replied. You old hag, get somebody your own age, Kyrie said, getting closer to her. Old hag? Well, this old hag has a body that your master wants, Anko said, smirking. They continue arguing while Naruto was in a similar predicament. What the hell did you just do that? Naruto raved in his mind. Come on, you know you liked it, Kyuubi said. So what, furball? It still doesn't make it right, Naruto thought. It does matter what, right, kid? You need to get laid, Kyuubi said. I'm 12. Why would I need to get laid now? And either way, why in the hell would you make me do that is? Naruto thought. I didn't make you do anything. I just simply tempted you. You did that on your own, Kyuubi said, waving him off. Don't do that, Aga, and Naruto said angrily. Like I would listen to you. Mwahahaha, Kyuubi said, laughing. He cut the link and stood up to see Kyrie and Anko rolling around the floor. His right eye started to twitch as Anko's towel went flying. He closed his eyes, pinching the bridge of his nose. He sighed, opening his eyes, and walked over to them. He picked up Kyrie and tucked her under his arm, keeping her from grabbing Anko. He turned quickly, not looking at Anko's body. Kyrie, stop. Anko, put some clothes on, Naruto said, and walked to his room. He put Kyrie on his bed and went and got a change of clothing, a towel and a necklace. Kyrie, make yourself something to eat. Okay, Naruto said, smiling. Kyrie nodded and Naruto walked out the room and to the bathroom. He knocked on the door. Hey, you done? Naruto asked. Give me a sec. Anko replied. After a minute, Anko came out dressed in what she wore the day before. She smirked at Naruto and got closer to him. He looked up at her face as she stood a few inches from him. Hey Naru-chan, I have to go now, I need new clothes, so I'll see you later, okay, she said, leaning down to his height. Yay, Naruto was cut off by her lips. She broke the kiss and quickly formed a hand seal. See you, love, she said, disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Damn it, Naruto thought, walking in the bathroom. After 20 minutes, Naruto walked out wearing an open black cloak with a white shirt and black cargo pants. He still wore his weight wristbands, leg warmers and a kunai pouch on each thigh. He wore a black face mask and a necklace with a red crystal on it. He walked into his room and threw his dirty clothes in the hamper. He walked into the kitchen to see Kyrie sitting down eating. See you later, Kyrie, Naruto said, walking towards the door. Naruto-sama, she called. He turned back to see Kyrie blushing. Yes, Naruto said. Well, can we, Kyrie started. Huh? Naruto responded. Never mind. Have a nice day, Kyrie said, turning around. Okay. See you later, Naruto said, opening the door. He closed the door and jumped to the roof. Why can't I just ask him? When I just want to hang out, I'm fine. But when I try to ask him on a date, I'm too nervous, Kyrie thought, sighing. Naruto 5 minutes later, after arrived at his team's training area, he saw Sasuke and Sakura standing there waiting. Hello, Sasuke-san. Sakura-san, Naruto greeted. HN, was Sasuke's response. Hi, Sakura greeted and turned her attention back to Sasuke, trying to strike a conversation with him. Naruto sighed and sat near the rail, taking out his book. He quickly placed a genjutsu on the book to hide what it is and started to read. And you call me a pervert, Kyuubi said. Naruto ignored the fox and continued reading. He read for an hour, blushing a deep shade of red. Jiro, we can't. If my father catches us, he will surely sentence you to death, I said. Jiro moved in close and pulled her to him. I don't care, I love you and any punishment is worth expressing it, Jiro said. He leaned in, giving her a gentle kiss. He swept his tongue across her bottom lip and she instantly granted him access. She moaned into the kiss as his tongue probed her mouth. He moved his hands from her back to her rear and gave it a gentle squeeze. Naruto read in his mind. Naruto, he heard. He looked up to see Sakura glaring at him. Yes, he said. I've been calling you for 2 minutes, she said. Sorry, I was distracted. So what's the matter? Naruto asked lowly. Kakashi Sensei is here, Sakura said and walked towards Sasuke. Naruto quickly put his book back into his pouch and stood up. He walked over to them with a low sigh. Now that Naruto is with us, we can start our mission, Kakashi said. 30 minutes later. This is Sasuke. I'm 10 meters from the target, the raven-haired teen said through a radio. Good, Sakura, where are you? Kakashi said through the con link. 15 meters from target, Sakura said. Naruto, how about you? Kakashi asked. 9 meters. I'll tell you now, if I get my hands on that cat it's dead, Naruto said calmly. Naruto, I know this is the 25th time this month, but it's our mission to capture, not kill the cat, Kakashi said. Dope, I won't fail a mission because of you, Sasuke said. Then get to the cat before me, Naruto said lowly. Just get that damnable cat, Kakashi said. See, even Sensei hates it, Naruto said. Go, Kakashi yelled. Before anyone could reach Tora, he was in the hands of Naruto. Tora was an orange cat with black stripes and a red ribbon on its ear. Naruto's eyes became slits as he stared in Tora's eyes. The cat meowed weakly as it saw Naruto's mask move up, giving the indication that he was smirking. Your time, Hawk could say it was a pleasure knowing you, but I can't, too bad, Naruto said. Naruto brought out a kunai and got ready to cleave his head right off. Die, Naruto said, swinging the toward Tora's head. Before it reached him, his hand was grabbed by Kakashi. Naruto, Kakashi said. Naruto turned to face Kakashi with his eyes turning back to normal. I told you if I got Tora first I would kill him, Naruto said. He put Tora down and gave it a cold glare. Run and I will kill you, he said, sending a small amount of killing intent. He turned around and got a look at a glaring Sasuke and a frightened Sakura. Come, Naruto said. Tora followed, not wanting to be killed. Kakashi sighed and followed along with his other 2 students. 5 minutes later they were in front of the Hokage and some Chunin and Junin sitting near him. Thank you so much for bringing my precious Tora back to me, Madam Shijimi's grabbing Tora in a bone-crushing hug. The whole team looked at Tora's face, seeing its displeasure. She walked up and paid the Hokage and left the room. See, don't you think I should have killed him now? Naruto said to Kakashi. Kakashi started. Ahem, now for you next mission, to walk a dog, the Hokage said. I don't think so, Naruto said. Okay, there's also babysitting, entertainment at a birthday party, Hokage said. No, I don't want to do any more D-rank missions, Sakura yelled. The whole room stared at her as she blushed out of embarrassment from her outburst. Ahem. I agree with Sakura-san, Naruto said. Naruto, Sakura missions are given according to rank. You are Genins, meaning you get D-ranked missions. Chunin like me get B and C ranked missions. Junin get A, B ranked missions, Iruka said. I was thinking that maybe we could do something today. You know, like going out to lunch. We really don't know much about each other, Kakashi said. Hey, are you listening? Iruka said. Team 7 turned toward him. Sorry, Kakashi said, scratching the back of his head. Look, Iruka-sensei, I understand the whole working on teamwork thing, but how do you expect up to go through the ranks if we have no experience in battle? If we can't test our teamwork in real-life situations, we're all as good as dead, Naruto said. More like they are, Kyuubi added. Naruto mentally agreed as he watched Iruka try and find a fault in what he said. The Hokage started laughing and turned toward Kakashi. Do you think they are ready? He asked. Yes, Kakashi said hastily. Thank you, Naruto, he thought. Fine, I got a C-ranked mission for you, Hokage-sama. You can't be serious, Iruka said. It's okay, Iruka, I have faith in them. Tazuna, come in please, he said. An old man reeking of alcohol came in and started drinking. He wore a brown shirt with a purple sash tied at his waist. He also had on yellow-brown pants with a backpack on. He had gray hair and a beard and wore white glasses and a white rope tied to his head. He gulped down his alcohol and pulled it away. These are the brats that are supposed to protect me. They don't look like much, especially that cloaked freak, he said. They all got ready to stop Naruto, but Naruto didn't move. You know you shouldn't insult one of the ninjas protecting you. They might decide not to protect you during the mission, Naruto said calmly, glaring at the man. The man looked horrified and muttered an apology. Okay, your mission is to protect the bridge builder on his way to Wave Country, the Hokage said. When do we? Before Sasuke could finish, the door busted open. Anko walked in scowling. Old man, have you gone senile? Letting a bunch of brats protect somebody, I bet they couldn't even wipe their asses, Anko let out. What the fuck is she doing? Naruto thought. Anko, what do you mean? Satorubi said. They just out of the academy, how do you expect them to do anything right? Anko asked. Don't worry Anko, they will do fine, he said. If you going to send them, at least send someone else to make sure it goes well, Anko said, crossing her arms. Okay then, you go, Hokage said. What? Anko nearly shouted in mock surprise. No, Naruto thought. Yes, another chance, Kyuubi said. Yes, you said someone else, so I'm sending you, he said. Fine, she replied, crossing her arms and looking away. That was too easy, everyone who knew her thought. Okay everyone, meet me at the gate in an hour. Pack enough to survive, Kakashi said. Both Anko and Kakashi disappeared in a puff of smoke. The other three of the team walked out the room, going their separate ways. Once Naruto was out of eyesight of his team, he did a hand seal and disappeared in a swirl of light. He appeared in his room and opened a drawer filled with scrolls. He grabbed a scroll that was labeled survival gear and closed his dresser. He walked out to Kyrie reading on the couch. Kyrie, Naruto said. She jumped a little and looked toward him. Yes, Naruto-sama, she replied. I have a C-ranked mission. I'll be gone for a couple of weeks, Naruto said. Can I come? She asked with a pleading look. Sorry Kyrie, but you can't, Naruto said. But why? She said. It's bad enough Anko knows how strong you are, but anyone else is bad. They might report to the Hokage and we don't want that, do we? Naruto explained. Okay, she said, pouting. How about we go out, I come back? Okay, Naruto said. Sure, she said in a hurry. See, yeah, Naruto said, smiling. He created a hand seal and disappeared in a swirl of lights. He came to a stop at the front gate. Well, I guess I got a little free time, Naruto thought. He grabbed 2 kunai from his pouch and held each out in one open hand. He charged Charka, letting it into the air, gathering the air around him. He pushed the air toward his hands and used it to pick up the kunai. He used the wind to started swirling the kunai around his body. The kunai that was in his right hand moved in a diagonal movement, moving from his right shoulder side to his left leg and back around. The one in his left hand did the exact opposite, moving from his left should to his right leg and around again. He gathered more wind to the point where it is visible. He continued this for 30 minutes before sensing a presence close by. He channeled the wind to have the 2 kunai placed in his hand and stopped his charka discharge. He placed them in his kunai pouch. He quickly ducked, dodging a kunai before turning and jumping back. He stepped to the side, dodging a punch from a purple-hair kunoichi wearing a beige backpack. He quickly leapt after her, going to sweep her feet. She jumped up, threw 2 kunai at him. He jumped back, dodging the kunai, and made a T-like hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said. One lone appeared and transformed into a large shuriken. He tossed it at and she ducked, dodging it. The shuriken landed behind her and he charged at her. She threw a punch when he got close enough, but he sidestepped it and punched her. She disappeared in a clone of smoke. He quickly turned around only to get tackled to the ground. The kunoichi quickly straddled his waist and brought out a kunai. He looked up, feeling cold metal on his neck, and saw Anko smirking at him. Seems like I win, she said. Yeah, seems like it, Naruto said, smirking. Before another word was spoke, Anko felt a kunai on her neck. She turned to the side, seeing another Naruto. Now who won? That Naruto asked as the Naruto under Anko disappeared in a puff of smoke. I did, Anko said. HN, Naruto said, and quickly jumped to the side. He saw another Anko where he just was. Damn, almost had him, Anko said. The Anko who was sitting disappeared, leaving the real one. Naruto sensed 2 more charka signals and raised his hand. Somebody is coming, Naruto said. Anko nodded and put away her kunai. After about a minute, both Kakashi and Tazuna walk up to the gate. What happened here? Kakashi asked, looking at his and Anko clothing. We were playing, Anko said, grinning. Kakashi nodded, narrowing his eyes slightly. I don't like how she said that, he thought before he walked over to a tree. Naruto looked at Anko and walked over to her. Why exactly did you want to come? Naruto asked. Don't know, man ordered me to come, Anko said with an innocent look. Yeah, Rig, you know what, just forget it, Naruto said. Naruto leaned against a tree next to Anko with his eyes closed and started envisioning a new jutsu. After 5 minutes he sensed another Charka signal and heard Anko shift. Don't even think about it, Naruto said. Ah, you're no fun, Anko whined. Naruto smirked when he felt another Charka signal coming closer. In less than 10 minutes both Sasuke and Sakura arrived with their packs and they were on their way to wave. They walked in silence with Sasuke in front with Sakura next to him, followed by Tazuna with Naruto at his side. Behind them were Anko and Kakashi, who was talking. Hey Naruto, where is your pack? Sakura asked. Naruto reached into his pouch and brought out a scroll that contained his pack for Sakura to see. He put it back in his pouch and fixed his cloak as they walked. After a few more minutes Sakura asked a question. Hey Sensei, is there ninja in Wave Country? Sakura asked. No, there is no shinobi in Wave. It is a small island surrounded by water, so there is no need for them there. Because of that, missing nin are bound to be there, Naruto said, answering for Kakashi. Missing nin? Sakura said. Yeah, but don't worry, I'll protect you, Kakashi said. Kakashi then turned to Anko, who was staring at Naruto. He moved over to her and whispered something in her ear that Naruto didn't catch. Say that again and I'll castrate you, Anko said angrily. Sorry, it was just a joke, Kakashi said nervously. Naruto felt 2 Charka signals moving ahead of them and smirked. This mission will be more entertaining than I thought, Naruto thought as they walked across a bridge. I agree, Kyrie said. They walked a few minutes more when they came to a puddle. Okay, I was wrong, Naruto thought. Kakashi and Anko noticed it too but kept walking. Naruto took out a kunai, his motion hidden by his cloak. 2 bodies rose from the pool, slowly separating from the water. Garbed in blue and brown shinobi apparel, with some parts a sort of camouflage cloth for blending in with their surroundings. Both had a large metal claw, gauntlet on their left and right hands respectively, and breathing apparatus over their mouths. Their eyes were almost pure white with constricted pupils, hinting at the barely contained madness within. Both wore their own form of hite, a metal plate with some carved wavy lines in the center, the mark of shinobi from the village of Kirigakure. One's hite had a single spike bolted at its center above the village mark. The other had 2 spikes bolted on opposite sides of the metal band. In a split second, one catapulted the other into the air and they encircled their prey with a wicked spiked chain connected between the gauntlets. Naruto turned to see both Anko and Kakashi wrapped in thin chain that was attached to one gauntlet on one of the ninja left hand and right on the other. They pulled it hard, shredding both Anko and Kakashi. 2 down, 1 said. Anko, Naruto thought, hearing Sakura scream as they moved toward Naruto. Naruto shot off in a blur, appearing behind them with his kunai in front of him. They stopped, looking back as their chain fell to the ground in pieces. Sasuke threw 2 kunai at them, forcing them to separate. One moved toward Naruto while the other towards Sasuke. The man charged toward Naruto as he turned around. He shot off in a blur again and stopped on the other side of him. The man fell down unconscious with 2 slash marks on his chest and back. Naruto felt 2 Charka signals to his right and shook his head. Naruto looked up to see the other figure fighting Sasuke. Sasuke kicked him back and the man threw 2 kunai at Sasuke. Sasuke jumped to the side, dodging the kunai. He ran towards Sakura, ignoring Sasuke with his clawed arm pulled back. Sakura pulled out the kunai and held it in front of her. Sasuke appeared in front of her, ready to take the blow. Before the man could reach her, Kakashi reappeared, catching the ninja off guard. He caught him in a clothesline, holding his neck. Naruto looked to the side, seeing Anko walking out some bushes, smiling. She grabbed the guy Naruto knocked out and looked at Naruto. She mouthed a good job before she walked over to Kakashi. Good job, you guys, Kakashi said as both Sasuke and Sakura looked surprised. He then glared at a nervous Tazuna as Anko took the person from Kakashi. We need to talk to Tazuna, Kakashi said. I'll interrogate them, Anko said, walking away. Those 2 was the demon brothers, missing nin from Kirigakure. What were they doing after you? Kakashi asked. Wave Country does not have enough money, because of a man named Gatu, Tazuna said. Naruto eyes widened, recognizing the name before smiling an evil smile. You mean Gato, of the Gato Corporation? Kakashi asked. Yes. He has a shipping company in Wave. He has taken over our trade routes and forced us to pay a lot more money to get supplies, Tazuna said. But why would he do that? He's one of the richest men in the element countries, Sakura said. Because he also works in the underworld, Naruto stated. All three of his teammates stared at him. Naruto walked closer to Tazuna and stopped just before him. That's why you're building the bridge. Because of you're surrounded by water, your country relies on water transport. Since he controls your whole economy. If you have a bridge, you no longer have to rely on the sea. Am I right? Naruto asked lowly. Yes, but how did you know? Tazuna asked. Because I'm informed, Naruto said simply. Naruto suddenly sensed a suppressed chakra signal. Naruto turned to his left, looking slightly up at a cliff in the far-off distance. This mission just got better, Kyrie said. Ah, they heard. Everyone except Naruto turned their head towards the source of the scream to see Anko walking towards them with a smirk on her face. She walked up to Kakashi and stopped. I couldn't get much information out of them. All they said was that a demon from Mist will be coming, Anko said. I see, Kakashi said. Anko then turned to Naruto, seeing him staring into the forest. Well, this mission has just turned into a B-ranked mission, but we will have to go back, Kakashi said. No missions take unexpected turns. If we can't complete this, we will never be ready for the high-ranking ones, Naruto said, glancing at Kakashi. I agree with him, Sasuke said quickly. And you, Sakura? Kakashi asked. Sakura looked at Sasuke and then Naruto and nodded. Fine, we will continue, Kakashi said. Thank you, Tazuna said. Naruto turned back to the forest and gave it one last look. Hey Naruto-chan, come on, Anko yelled. Naruto turned back toward them to see them walking ahead. He walked towards them with a little smirk. Well, payback's a bitch, Naruto thought, his eyes flashing red. In the forest, who was that kid? He was looking straight at me. It's impossible to see me from this distance. A cloaked man thought, holding a pair of binoculars. He may be trouble. Even more so than the Junin that are coming with the old man. He thought, putting the binoculars away. I guess I should get the demon brothers. They might still be useful, he said, jumping forward. Elsewhere, your men failed, said a gruff yet greasy voice. This voice belonged to a short, mean-looking man in a black suit. His hair was a dark gray color, his sneering face adorned with some small glasses and a perfectly formed mustache that seemed to add to the sleazy image. For this man was Gato, the third richest man in the world and owner of the Gato Shipping Corporation. He stood in a small room inside a massive beehive-like complex, facing a heavily breathing figure that few had seen and lived to tell the tale. Bloated by his arrogance, Gato continued, I pay top dollar for your services, and now one of your elite shinobi is dead. You're pathetic. The bridge builder and the developer are guarded by two shinobi teams from Konohagakure. That makes two Junin, one that I hear is the so-called copycat ninja Hitaki Kakashi. What will you do him? What I demanded. The figure stirred, and moved slightly from out of the dark that was covering his features. With no effort whatsoever, he slowly swung forward a huge sword that almost completely covered the 4-foot gap between them, and held it horizontally with his one arm as it weighed nothing. And don't even bother to worry yourself, Gato, he answered in a deep, harsh tone of voice dripping in contempt. With this Sanbatu, I shall kill the old men and any others who stand in my way. This seemed to satisfy Gato, who strode out of the room flanked by his bodyguards with the same cocksure attitude that he entered it with. Soon the swirl of smoke, 3 ninja appeared. Shuji, Gozu, Mizu report, Zabuza said. There is 2 Junin with the old man and 3 genin. 1 Junin is copycat ninja Kakashi and the other one is the former apprentice of Orochimaru, the man named Shuji said. I see. Nothing I can't handle, he said. There is someone you should be weary of, Shuji said. Who? Zabuza asked. Back to the group. They have been walking silently for a few hours. They stopped in a clearing just as the sun set. All right, we set up camp here, Kakashi said. They all nodded and moved apart, setting their bags down. Naruto drew out his scroll from his pouch and unraveled it. He bit his thumb and wiped the blood on it. In a cloud of smoke, a big red bag appeared. He quickly took out his tent and set it up. He put his bag inside the tent and walked back out to see Kakashi and Anko with both of their tents set up, standing talking about the mission. After 5 minutes, when Tazuna, Sakura and Sasuke had their tents set up. All right, ease the jobs. Naruto, you find some firewood. Sasuke, you go with Sakura and fill up the canteens with water. Anko will set the traps and I will sit here and read my book. Kakashi said. All four of them glared at him and went off to do their task. Sasuke and Sakura went off toward the stream that they pass. Sasuke sent a glare at Naruto, who didn't really care, and Sakura looked happy to be spending time with her crush. Naruto walked into the forest and made a hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said. Two clones appeared and started picking up fallen tree branches. Before Naruto could move, he felt his hood get pulled back and two arms wrapping around his neck pulling him back. You have gotten slower. Are you wearing weights? He heard Anko's voice close to his ear. You may be right or wrong. Naruto replied lowly. Come on, Naruto-chan, can I get a straight answer? She asked. Naruto chuckled lowly as she rubbed her cheek against his. I'll think about it, Naruto said. Meanie, Anko let out. She smiled at him before looking forward once again. Anko, you have any suggestions on how to improve myself? He asked, looking at her. Anko looked at him before looking up. From what I see, and that's all your movements, you was kind of aggressive, not your usually style. You usually wait to see their skills before trying to disable people. Did you actually think I died back there? Anko asked, looking at him. No, Naruto said calmly. Liar, Kyuubi said, smirking. Shut up, Naruto thought. He felt Anko's tongue on his earlobe and felt a shiver go up his spine. I think you're lying, she said, blowing into his ear. He tried to suppress another shiver but failed. She hooked one of her fingers under his mask and was about to pull it down before Naruto grabbed her hand. Stop, Naruto said. Why? Anko asked seductively. Because if we're caught you'll get in trouble, Naruto said. So, Anko replied. Do you really think the Hokage is going to let you near me if he finds out? Naruto asked. You may have a point, Anko said. Safe, Naruto thought. Shit face, Naruto thought. I guess we have to wait until we get back, Anko said. See ya, she said, letting go and disappearing into the forest. Wait, she didn't help. Oh well. I wonder what Kyrie is doing, Naruto thought. In Konoha, Kyrie was twirling her chain attached to the sickle around. She threw it towards some straw stacks, cutting through them. Stupid Anko, kissing Naruto-sama. If he hadn't protected her I would have killed her a long time ago, she thought, catching the sickle. She sensed a Charka signal and turned around. Hello, Kyrie, said a girl. She had brown hair wrapped in two buns and wore a Konoha Hita-8 on her forehead. She had brown eyes and wore a pink Chinese shirt and blue baggy pants. Hey Tenten, how's it going? She asked. Fine, Tenten said, looking over the area. What's got you mad this time? She asked. Just a purple-haired slut, Kyrie replied. Purple-haired slut. Can't think of anyone I've seen with purple hair, Tenten said. It doesn't matter. So how has your day been? Kyrie asked with a smile. As normal as it could get with Guy Sensei and Lee on your team, she said. What happened? Kyrie said. I don't want to talk about. So the usual? Tenten asked, drawing two kunai. Kyrie nodded and moved her hand off the sickle and onto the chain 8 inches away from the sickle. She started twirling her sickle around in circles. Kyrie threw her sickle at Tenten. Tenten jumped up, dodging the attack, and threw a kunai toward Kyrie. She jumped back, dodging the kunai while pulling on her chain. When Kyrie landed, she saw Tenten bring out a sword from a scroll. Kyrie swung her chain around her and swung it toward Tenten. She jumped, dodging the chain, and threw 3 kunai at Kyrie. Kyrie hit them away with her sickle while pulling on the chain. Tenten came closer and swung her sword horizontally at Kyrie. Kyrie ducked and brought her sickle upward. Tenten leaned back, dodging the strike, and aimed to kick Kyrie gut. Before the kick could connect, her leg was pulled back. She fell forward as Kyrie jumped to the side. She quickly looked at her foot to see a sliver chain with a metal ball at the end tied around her. Shit, Tenten said. She looked up, finding Kyrie standing there with her sickle pointing at her neck. I win, she said. She turned the blade around so it was facing her and unwrapped it from Tenten's leg. Kyrie sat down next to Tenten as she sat up. For someone who isn't a shinobi, you sure are strong. You could probably make Junin in no time, Tenten said. You think so? Kyrie asked. Yep, Tenten replied. Only if I could, Kyrie said. What can't you? Tenten asked. Well, it very complicated, Kyrie said. Okay, Tenten said, not pressing the issue. So who is this purple-haired slut you were talking about? She asked. I'm glad you asked, Kyrie said smirking. Next day with Team 7. They have just gotten off the boat and were walking in a forest. They came to an area where a pond was ahead. Naruto felt a charka signal to his right and tossed a kunai toward it. His kunai lodged into a tree and 3 inches from the bottom. They all walked over to the bush and saw a rabbit with a pure white coat. Naruto, look what you did. Sakura screamed. Naruto looked toward her before looking forward. Quiet, he said. Is its coat supposed to be white at this time of year? Naruto thought. No, Kyuubi said. So it means it was kept indoors, Naruto thought. Get down, Kakashi yelled, grabbing Tazuna, and while Anko pulled Sakura and Sasuke down, a huge spinning zanbatu flew over their heads a second later, headed towards Naruto. Pretty much. It was probably used for a kawarimi no jutsu, Kyuubi said. But who uses a rabbit for kawarimi? An explosive tag would be much more effective, Naruto thought. When the sword reached him, Naruto's left arm lashed out, smacking the blade upward. It spun vertically before the blade was lodged into a tree trunk vertical. Naruto looked toward the blade as a man appeared on a branch above it. He wore purple pants with vertical marks running down them, along with camouflage ankle and forearm sleeves. He was completely bare-chested and his lower face and neck were covered with bandages to obscure his features. His eyes had a cruel glint behind them, his eyebrow-less forehead completing the symmetry, and on his head he wore at an angle a hite bearing the mark of Kirigakure no slantly glaring at Naruto as another ninja appeared below him. He had green spiked hair. He wore sunglasses and a brown cloak. He had a hite with the symbol for cloud on it with a slash through the middle. They were right, he may be a problem, he thought as everyone got up. Momochi Zabuza, listed as an A-class missing nin and known as the Devil of the Mist in the bingo book for trying to assassinate the Mizukage, Kakashi said, looking at the man on the branch. His attention turned to the man below him and his glared. And Shiro Masao, listed as a A-ranked missing nin known as the Red Wind in the bingo book for the murder of his comrades, he finished putting down his bag. You know quite a lot about us, copycat ninja Kakashi, Shiro said. Enough with the introductions, what do you want? Anko yelled. Oh, feisty. I like that. How about me and you ditch your friends and go play? Shiro said. Both Naruto and Anko glared at him. She was about to respond when Zabuza spoke instead. We're here for the old man, so be nice little ninja and hand him over and we'll let you live, he said. Not a chance, Kakashi said, reaching for his hite. Get into formation, he said. The 3 genins rushed over to Tazuna in a formation where Sasuke was in front, Sakura to the left and Naruto to his right, each holding kunai. I'll take the green-haired freak, Anko said, putting down her bag. Kakashi lifted his hite up, revealing a red eye with 3 comber marks. He had a scar going vertical from the top his eye, past the bottom to where his mask starts. So, that's the Sharingan. I'm so honored to see it. But it's still not enough, Zabuza said, grabbing his sword and appearing on the river. Kirigakure no jutsu, he said as a thick mist surrounded the battlefield. Naruto concentrated charka into his eyes and they became slits. He was able to see that Anko had already engaged Shiro and that Zabuza was moving towards them. He saw Shiro lead Anko away from the group before turning his attention back to Zabuza. Heart, lungs, neck, so many parts to hack off, said Zabuza while Kakashi performed a quick jutsu. So this is a Jonin fight, it's so intense that every drop of my life force is being sucked away. This fight, I can't take it anymore, Sasuke thought as he was ready to kill himself. Pathetic, Kyuubi thought. Sasuke, don't worry, I won't let any of my comrades die, Kakashi said, smiling at him. We'll see about that, Zabuza said, appearing in the middle of the group. Naruto smirked as Kakashi rushed in, stabbing the clone. He burst into water and another Zabuza appeared behind Kakashi and attacked, revealing a water clone. Naruto sensed a charka level speeding at him and turned quickly. Before he could attack, he was hit hard, being lifted off the ground and into the forest. He slid across the ground before using his hands to push him off the ground into a backflip. He landed on the ground to come face to face with the green-haired shinobi. He rubbed his jaw watching his new opponent. Wasn't he fighting Anko? Naruto thought. Yes, get ready, Kyuubi said. So you're the brat Zabuza wanted me to take care of. You don't look so special, Shiro said. Looks can be deceiving, Naruto said, getting into his taijutsu stance. The brat got spunk, he said to himself. He disappeared from view and reappeared behind Naruto. He aimed a kick for his left side but Naruto blocked and countered-attacked with a back kick. Shiro managed to block the kick but slid back from the force. Damn, that hurt, he said. He drew a hidden katana and got ready to attack. Naruto smiled as his gauntlets and shin guards appeared. He ran at Shiro and threw a quick jab. Shiro dodged the attack and swung his sword horizontally at Naruto. Naruto ducked, dodging the attack, and tried to sweep his legs. Shiro jumped back, dodging the leg sweep, and smirked. Zabuza was right, you were worth the fight, he said. He disappeared again and reappeared in front of Naruto. He swung his sword horizontally and Naruto ducked again, dodging the blow. Shiro threw a kick and hit Naruto into a tree. Naruto got up quickly and jumped to the side, dodging a few kunai. Shiro appeared in front of Naruto, swinging his sword downward at him. Naruto jumped back, dodging his attack barely. Kyrie, take off the weights. I can't win with them off, Naruto thought, unhooking his cloak. Fine. But I'm doubling them after this is over, Kyrie said. Fine, Naruto thought as his cloak fell down. Shiro looked at his features, his smirk turning into a frown. Those eyes, they look familiar, he thought as a kid's face flashed in his mind. No, it can't be him. Yeah, this guy doesn't use sword. He does, Shiro thought. Let's get serious, shall we? Shiro said, taking off some weights from his legs and arms. He dropped them to the ground and they created a small crater. Awesome, much better, he said. Black lines appeared on his face and arms for a few seconds before disappearing. What was that? He asked. Your end, Naruto said as his gauntlets and shin guards started to glow white. He appeared in front of Shiro and threw a fury punch. Shiro moved from left to right, dodging each punch. Naruto quickly turned around, bringing his right foot up and toward Shiro. He started with a fury of kicks, catching Shiro every 5 times. With his last kick, Naruto sent Shiro through a few trees, breaking them. Naruto rushed at Shiro and threw a punch when he reached him. Shiro sidestepped him and punched him in his jaw. Naruto was sent back into a tree, but he quickly recovered, landing on the tree. He charged Charka into his gauntlets. They glowed white as Naruto reeled back his arms. Hikari Bakufu, Naruto said, throwing a right hook and then a left. 2 balls of light came from his fist and headed towards Shiro. Shiro jumped away, dodging the balls, and did a few hand seals. Raiden. Raiko Shuha, Shiro said. His blade cracked with lightning and Shiro swung it toward Naruto. A wave of lightning flew toward Naruto. Naruto jumped out of the way, dodging the attack, and charged at Shiro. He threw a punch when he reached him. Shiro blocked and threw a kick at his head. Naruto jumped over his foot and brought his foot around for a kick. Shiro ducked, dodging the kick, and brought his sword up toward Naruto. Naruto used his gauntlets to block and flew upward from the force. Shiro appeared in front of him and swung at him horizontally. Naruto blocked the sword with his right gauntlet. Shiro threw a punch at his face as Naruto threw a kick. Naruto hit him in the stomach, sending him back, but not before getting hit in his jaw. They both flew back, Shiro hitting a tree while Naruto flipping in the air and landing on his feet. He wiped away the blood on his lip and looked at Shiro. As expected, show me a little more, Naruto said, reaching into his pouch and pulling out the 2 scrolls with his swords in them. Damn brat, he thought. He stared at him as he bit his thumb and unraveled the 2 scrolls. Naruto wiped his blood on them and his 2 blades appeared. He quickly grabbed them both and quickly strapped them to his back in a diagonal slant. Dawning Light's hilt near his right should and Oblivion on near his left. He drew both blades and got into a stance. His legs were spread out and his right hand holding Dawning Light was behind his head with the blade pointing toward the ground and Oblivion held out near his legs horizontally. Those blades, Shiro thought, eyes widen. He looked up, noticing the red crystal on his neck. That crystal, it him all right. Shall we continue? Naruto asked. You're Hikaru the Dragon Ninja, Shiro said, glaring. Naruto's eyes shifted in recognition as he narrowed his eyes. You're the one who killed more than 10 platoons of shinobi with 1 jutsu, he continued. Why do you think that? Naruto asked. I was there that day when it happened. I would recognize those blades and that crystal anywhere. I lost my brother that day. I will have my revenge, Shiro said angrily. I told you some escaped, Kyrie said. Shut up, Naruto thought. Hey, I thought I killed everyone that day, it matters not. That you will not, Liao said. Shut up. I'm going to kill you, Shiro said with his voice dripping with venom. They both disappeared and reappeared together in the middle of the area with his blade and Oblivion locked together. Naruto brought dawning light up and swung it down at Shiro. Shiro dodged the attack by jumping back and quickly made some hand seals. Raiden. Raiko Tama, he said as lightning balls appeared in his hand. He fired them toward Naruto. Naruto charged wind chakra to both of his blades and swatted them away. The balls hit the ground as Naruto sheathed his blades. He started a few hand as Shiro charged. Doden. Kizdu Hando, Naruto said, hitting the ground with both his palms. A hand made of earth formed and rose aiming for Shiro. He jumped up dodging the attack and started a set of seals. Naruto made a few seals gathering the chakra around him. Raiden. Raiko Degeki, Shiro said, his body overflowing with lightning. Naruto finished his hand seals as he watched the lightning leak into the darkening sky. With Sasuke, Sakura, Anko, and Kakashi. I can't believe you got caught so easy, Anko said at Kakashi, who was sitting down. He caught me by surprise, Anko, Kakashi said. A hunter nin had just took Zabuza dead body away and Kakashi was slightly wounded. Anko was able to make Zabuza let go of the water prison that held Kakashi. Kakashi-san, Anko-san, Tazuna started. He caught you by surprise? How the hell did he catch you by surprise? Isn't that what the Sharingan is for, to make sure that don't happen? Anko ranted. Excuse me, Tazuna said. Hey, you took the easy opponent, Kakashi said, getting up. He was just as hard as Zabuza, meaning he was weak, Anko argued. Excuse me, Tazuna said again. What? Anko and Kakashi shouted in unison. Hey, where's Naruto? Sakura asked. Both Anko and Kakashi looked around but not seeing Naruto around. He probably ran away, Sasuke said, earning Anko's glare. Look, Tazuna said, pointing towards the sky. Everyone followed his finger, looked at the darkened sky. Fuck, Anko said, running in that direction with Kakashi and Sasuke hot on her tail. Back with Naruto, a lightning bolt came from the sky heading for Naruto. Fuuden. K's Ryu, Naruto whispered as the lightning was right above him. Shiro smirked at the explosion that took place. The wind sent him further up into the air. Before he was able to land, a dragon made of wind came towards him. He swung his sword at the dragon, but it moved around him, dodging the strike. The dragon hit him higher into the air and disappeared. Ryu no Mai. Tsukai Keita. Naruto said, jumping from the smoke with both swords drawn, oblivion at his right side and dawning light at his right. Fuck, Shiro said, getting ready to block. When Naruto reached him, he swung his blades right then left at Shiro. He managed to block some of the strikes but got hit by two, creating a crossmark wound on his chest. Naruto brought both swords over his head and started to spin downward. Shiro tried to block, but the blade was knocked out of his hand by the blades. He out-hit 3 times before Naruto passed him. Naruto landed on the ground in a crouch with his blades back in their sheath. Shiro fell to the ground in a loud thump, creating a crater. Naruto walked over to the crater, drawing oblivion. It's time to die, Naruto said. Naruto jumped to the side, dodging lightning that came from the hole. Lightning hit Naruto in his right side from his back. Fuck, Naruto thought, gritting his teeth as the lightning passed through him. Naruto hit the ground hard a few meters from where Shiro was. What the fuck? Naruto thought, panting. After a few seconds, Naruto heard Shiro get up and walk toward him. Naruto pushed himself up on his hands and knees before forcing himself to stand. He moved his hand to his side, feeling blood on his hand. He looked at Shiro while scanning the area. He noticed 3 slash marks on Shiro's chest with blood flowing heavily from it. Chakra down to 65%, mobility down to around 45%, vision 100%, blood loss increasing by the moment, strength 63%. Him killing me at this point 28%, he thought, taking a deep breath. You're going to die now, Shiro said. He ran toward Naruto with his sword pointing toward his back by his right side. Naruto ran toward him too. As they reached each other, Shiro swung his blade. Naruto ducked under the blade and slid around to his back. He was just about to thrust his sword into his back when he was hit by a foot. He flew into a tree, cracking it, coughing out blood. A kunai embedded itself into his leg a second later, causing him to grit his teeth in pain. Naruto looked at the kunai before looking up at the person who kicked him. The man wore a blue shirt with pockets for scrolls and red pants. He had a hit-8 with the symbol for cloud on it with a slash through the middle. He had short brown hair and a kunai pouch on his right leg. Shiro, you okay? The guy asked, getting closer. I'm fine, Shuji, Shiro said. Naruto slowly rose to his feet, still holding oblivion. Naruto started charging Charka into his blade ready to attack. Chances of killing me at this point has risen above 45%, escaping 69%, Naruto thought. We should leave, Shuji said. No, I'm going to kill him, Shiro said. Naruto, they heard. Damn, they cannot leave, Naruto thought. He dashed forward, quickly jumping to his left then to his right before reaching him. He got to them drawing Dawning lightly and swung his blade at Shiro. Shiro jumped to his left and Shuji moved back drawing a kunai. He slashed at Naruto just as he leapt toward Shiro. Shiro moved his blade up blocking Naruto's vertical slash. Naruto pushed his blade down as Shuji came behind him. Naruto moved Dawning directly behind him blocking the kunai. Naruto shifted to his left before spinning positioning his blades horizontally. Both of the missing nin jumped back barely dodging the blades. 5 kunai shot off toward Shiro and Shuji from the forest as they both jumped back dodging them as they headed for the forest. Shiro glared at Naruto as Naruto dropped to his knees. Damn it, Naruto thought. Shiro took out a kunai quickly before throwing it at Naruto's neck. Before it could reach him, Anko came down in a blur deflecting it. She returned 2 of her own toward them as Kakashi came down right next to her. Shuji quickly deflected 2 kunai heading for Shiro before grabbing his arm. We need to go, he said taking out to Tanball. Shiro glared at Anko and Kakashi mentally cursing. I thought I left you unconscious, Anko said. No, Hikaru here was my true target. I never thought I would meet the so-called dragon ninja again, Shiro said. Shuji looked at him with his eyes widen. He shook his head quickly filing it away. He threw down the smoke bombs and they exploded covering them with smoke. Naruto tilted his head to the smoke as it dissipated. They escaped, Kakashi said. Naruto took a few deep breaths moving his swords slowly into his sheaths. His vision started to get hazy as he placed both of his hands on the ground. He shook his head before forcing himself to stand. Anko turned to him looking him over. Naru-chan. She let out. He looked at her before closing his eyes. Kakashi turned to him and looked him over. Damn it, this is bad, he said. Don't worry about it, Naruto whispered breathing heavily. We should get go, he let out before he fell forward. Anko reached out catching him before he can hit the ground. Naruto turned his head looking at Anko. His head dropped. The last thing he saw was the worried face of Anko before darkness claimed him. Seneashu. Shadow Snake Hand Cage Bunshin no Jutsu Shadow Clone Technique. Kirigakure no Jutsu Hidden Mist Technique Hikari Bakufu Light Blast. Raiden. Raiko Shuha Lightning Release, Lightning Wave. Raiden. Raiko Tama Lightning Release, Lightning Ball. Doden. Kizdu Hando Earth Release Rising Hand Raiden. Raiko Degeki Lightning Release, Lightning Strike. Fuuten. K's Ryu Wind Release, Wind Dragon Ryu no Mai. Tsukai Kata Dance of the Dragon, Sky Style. Dreamscape. It's time to die, Naruto said. Naruto jumped to the G that came from the hole. Lightning hit Naruto in his right side from his back. Fuck, Naruto thought gritting his teeth as the lightning passed through him. Naruto hit the ground hard a few meters from where Shiro was. What the fuck? Naruto thought panting. After a few seconds Naruto heard Shiro get up and walk toward him. Naruto pushed himself up on his hands and knees before forcing himself to stand. He moved his hand to his side feeling blood on his hand. He looked at Shiro while scanning the area. He noticed 3 slash marks on Shiro's chest with blood flowing heavily from it. Chakra down to 65%, mobility down to around 45%, vision 100%, blood loss increasing by the moment, strength 63%. Him killing me at this point 28%. He thought taking a deep breath. You're going to die now, Shiro said. He ran toward Naruto with his sword pointing toward his back by his right side. Naruto ran toward him too. As they reached each other, Shiro swung his blade. Naruto ducked under the blade and slid around to his back. He was just about to thrust his sword into his back when he was hit by a foot. He flew into a tree cracking it, coughing out blood. A kunai embedded itself into his leg a second later causing him to grit his teeth in pain. Naruto looked at the kunai before looking up at the person who kicked him. The man wore a blue shirt with pockets for scrolls and red pants. He had a hit-8 with the symbol for cloud on it with a slash through the middle. He had short brown hair and a kunai pouch on his right leg. Shiro, you okay? The guy asked getting closer. I'm fine, Shuji, Shiro said. Naruto slowly rose to his feet still holding Oblivion. Naruto started charging chakra into his blade ready to attack. Chances of killing me at this point has risen above 45%, escaping 69%, Naruto thought. We should leave, Shuji said. No, I'm going to kill him, Shiro said. Naruto, they heard. Damn, they cannot leave, Naruto thought. He dashed forward, quickly jumping to his left then to his right before reaching him. He got to them drawing lightly and swung his blade at Shiro. Shiro jumped to his left and Shuji moved back drawing a kunai. He slashed at Naruto just as he leapt towards Shiro. Shiro moved his blade up blocking Naruto's vertical slash. Naruto pushed his blade down as Shuji came behind him. Naruto moved dawning directly behind him blocking the kunai. Naruto shifted to his left before spinning positioning his blades horizontally. Both of the missing nin jumped back barely dodging the blades. 5 kunai shot off towards Shiro and Shuji from the forest as they both jumped back dodging them as they headed for the forest. Shiro glared at Naruto as Naruto dropped to his knees. Damn it, Naruto thought. Shiro took out a kunai quickly before throwing it at Naruto's neck. Before it could reach him, Anko came down in a blur deflecting it. She returned 2 of her own toward them as Kakashi came down right next to her. Shuji quickly deflected 2 kunai heading for Shiro before grabbing his arm. We need to go, he said taking out a Tanball. Shiro glared at Anko and Kakashi mentally cursing. I thought I left you unconscious, Anko said. No, Hikari here was my true target. I never thought I would meet the so-called dragon ninja again, Shiro said. Shuji looked at him with his eyes widen. He shook his head quickly filing it away. He threw down the smoke bombs and they exploded covering them with smoke. Naruto tilted his head to the smoke as it dissipated. They escaped, Kakashi said. Naruto took a few deep breaths moving his swords slowly into his sheaths. His vision started to get hazy as he placed both of his hands on the ground. He shook his head before forcing himself to stand. Anko turned to him looking him over. Naru-chan. She let out. He looked at her before closing his eyes. Kakashi turned to him and looked him over. Damn it, this is bad, he said. Don't worry about it, Naruto whispered breathing heavily. We should get going, he let out before he fell forward. Anko reached out catching him before he can hit the ground. Naruto turned his head looking at Anko. His head dropped. The last thing he saw was the worried face of Anko before darkness claimed him. Dream End. Kyrie woke up covered with sweat. Naruto-sama's hurt, she thought sitting up. She gripped the bed sheets tightly remembering what he said. He said to stay here. So I will, she thought with a worried expression. But what if he needs my help? No, don't think like that. He'll be alright. He's a strong ninja, she thought trying to assure herself only half working. What should I do? She thought. Naruto sat up quickly and looked around panting. He looked at the dark walls and turned to see a cage with a seal on it. Must be in my mind, Naruto thought. He saw 2 red eyes appear from inside the cage and stood up. Would you explain how did you let that happen? Kyubi asked. It seems like I was caught off guard, Naruto said. Naruto braced himself for the roar he was about to hear. It seems like you were caught off guard. It seems like you were caught off guard. You were fucking caught off guard. How in the hell did you get caught off guard by a weaker ninja? Tell me, Kyubi roared. I wasn't paying attention to my surrounding, Naruto said in a monotone. Before he could react, red chakra came from the gate and smacked Naruto into a wall. The chakra came back and rushed at him again before he could fall to the ground. Naruto quickly pushed off the wall dodging the chakra. He jumped from wall to wall dodging the chakra. He landing on the floor and the Kyubi's chakra rushed toward him. Naruto narrowed his eyes as 2 dragons like seals with a yin and yang sign appeared on the back of his left and right hands. The one on his left hand was the white yang half of the sign with a dark circle in the middle of the circular end and a white dragon with blue eyes following the sign upward pointing toward his arm. The sign on the back of his right hand was the black yin half of the sign with a white circle in the middle of the circular end and a black dark dragon with red eyes following the sign downward. The seal on his right hand glowed red before turning blue. Naruto chakra spiked and flared wildly around him as he held out his right hand toward the incoming chakra. His untamed chakra gathered into his arm still flaring about. Just as the Kyubi's chakra reached him, he pulled his arm back a little before thrusting it forward. His chakra rushed forward toward the Kyubi's chakra. Their chakras collided near Naruto position. Naruto pumped more chakra into his attack forcing the Kyubi's chakra towards its cage. Kyuubi pumped more chakra, pushing Naruto's chakra back toward him. They kept adding more chakra, pushing it toward each other. Naruto's eyes turned into a crimson color as he drew more chakra. After a few more seconds, the area where the two chakras collided exploded, sending Naruto back into the wall. Kyuubi's chakra receded back into its gate as Naruto fell to the ground. Kyuubi growled and watched as Naruto stood up. Kyuubi smirked as it noticed something different about Naruto. Now that's the Hikaru I remember, Kyuubi said. Naruto stood straight up, glaring at Kyuubi with his hair now with white highlights. His chakra started to flare around him again in a wider diameter. Naruto growled at the Kyuubi and looked toward his hands. He closed his eyes while concentrating on the seals. The seals glowed a silver color before turning back to their original color. A second later, his hair turned back to its blonde color as his chakra receded. Naruto turned around, ready to leave his mindscape. I expect what happened out there won't happen again, Kyuubi growled out. Yay, there will be no repeat, Naruto said calmly before disappearing from his mindscape. Naruto felt someone above him and quickly opened his eyes. Pya! Sakura screamed, jumping off the futon. Naruto groaned and sat up, causing a blanket to fall from his chest. He noticed he had bandages around his stomach and was on a futon. The door opened and Kakashi, and didn't recognize, walked in. Ah, Naruto, you're awake, Kakashi said. Damn, so close, next time I'll see under his mask, Sakura thought. Naruto nodded and looked around the room. Sasuke is sitting next to the wall. Sakura was at the end of the futon. Tazuna is to the right of Sakura and his swords are leaning against the wall to his side. Anko moved over to his side and smiled. You had a real bad wound there, brat. For a while now we thought you weren't going to make it, Anko said, smiled. Such a scratch would not claim my life, Anko, Naruto replied lowly in a monotone. Anko's right eye twitched at the tone but didn't say anything. How long have I been out? Naruto asked lowly. About a day and a half, Kakashi said. Odd, Naruto thought. Kakashi-sensei, what exactly happened when I was fighting? Naruto asked. You know, that's exactly what I was going to ask, Kakashi replied. Naruto merely stared at him as Kakashi leaned on the wall. Kakashi started to relay everything that happened with his fight with Zabuza and then finding him. Naruto stared at Kakashi with a blank look as Kakashi finished. So a hunter nin threw needles into Zabuza's neck, killing him. Then he thanked you, grabbed Zabuza's body and left. Am I right? Naruto asked. Kakashi nodded, looking at him. You must realize the chance of Zabuza being alive is rather high, Naruto said. Sakura and Tazuna looked shocked while Kakashi and Anko nodded. But Kakashi-sensei, you checked and said he was dead, Sakura yelled out. Yes, I did, but it was most likely a momentary death, Kakashi started. They didn't look like they understood, so Naruto decided to fill them in. The weapon the hunter nin used, unless it hits a vital organ, has a low rate of killing an opponent. Doctors use needles like them in acupuncture therapy. Hunter nins know the body structure thoroughly, so it would be easy for them, Naruto explained. Kakashi nodded and took over. First, he carried away the body of the much heavier Zabuza. Second, he used a weapon that has a low probability of killing. These 2 points indicate that his motive was not to kill Zabuza but to save him. We can't ignore that possibility, Kakashi explained. Aren't you thinking too much? Hunter nins are supposed to kill missing nins, Tazuna said. No, with all the suspicion we will prepare before it's too late. That's a shinobi rule. Plus, if he isn't alive, we must prepare for the other 2 Junin and any other ninja that Gato has hired, Kakashi said. Sensei, what do you mean preparing before it's too late? Besides, Naruto is still injured, Sakura protested. Naruto merely removed the blanket from the rest of his body before standing. Such wounds will not hinder me. I could use the training if I could get caught off guard so easily, Naruto whispered while Kakashi and Anko raised an eyebrow. Naruto stretched his arms outward, wincing slightly, but he hit it well. Both Kakashi and Anko noticed this and was about to comment before Naruto spoke up. Besides, even with this training, I doubt we could beat him without Anko or Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said. And this coming from the genin who decided to take on 2 Junin by himself, Sasuke said, looking at him with a slight glare. Naruto gave him a calculating look before looking ahead. There are times, Sasuke, when the situation calls for one to fight even when there is no chance of winning, Naruto said. There is always a chance to retreat, Naruto, Kakashi said. What is the chance of a genin escaping from an experienced Junin? Naruto asked. Kakashi stared at him before looking up. Not sure. Kakashi said. There is about a 15% under normal circumstances, Naruto said. Normal circumstances? What would be normal circumstances? Sakura asked. Normal circumstances in that situation would be the Junin underestimating the Genin giving a certain leeway. And that would lead to a few choice mistakes from the Junin that a Genin can capitalize on to escape. Anko explained. Is that what you mean? Anko asked. Yes. Naruto said. When a Junin isn't underestimating the Genin, the chance of escape decreases from 15% to 3% depending on the Genin, Naruto said. Are you trying to say they took you seriously? Sasuke asked. Naruto stared at him before giving him a shrug. Whether they did or not doesn't matter, they fail in their attempted, and that will cost them dearly, he said. They stared at him as Naruto turned towards the door as a little kid walked in. That's not fun, he started as he saw Tazuna. Oh, Inari, where were you? Tazuna said, looking happy with his arms spread out. Welcome back, Grandpa, he said as he took off his shoes and walked towards him. He gave Tazuna a hug and Tazuna patted his head. Inari, say hello to these people. They are the ninja who protected your grandpa, the lady said. Inari looked at them before looking at his mom. Mom, they are going to die, he said, pointing at the group. What did you say, you little brat? Anko asked with a heated glare. There's no way you can win against Gato, Inari said. Naruto appeared next to Anko and grabbed her arms, holding her back. Why, you brat all? Anko started trying to go over to him. Anko, he's a child, Naruto said, pulling her back. Sasuke looked at him, seething. I didn't see him move, he thought. If you don't want to die, you should leave, he said. Naruto narrowed his eyes as Inari walked to the door. Where are you going, Inari? Tazuna asked. To look at the ocean from my room, he said before leaving. Sorry about that, Tazuna said. It's all right, Naruto said, letting Anko go. She quickly turned around and hit Naruto on the head. Naruto blinked and looked at her. Ow, he said. You brat, Anko sneered. Kid, get ready for training, Kyrie said. Naruto turned towards the lady and smiled. Naruto as he made his way toward the young woman. She stared at him as he came and grabbed her hand. He lifted his left hand to his mask. Hello. Sorry we weren't properly introduced. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, he said. He pulled down his mask and quickly kissed her hand. A blush appeared on her face as he quickly pulled up his mask so nobody else can see and looked up at her. Can I have the honor of knowing your name? He asked. T's Tsunami, she stuttered, staring into his eyes. You have a beautiful name, Naruto said. Her blush deepened and she tried to look everywhere but his eyes. Ahem. Anko coughed with a scowl on her face. Naruto looked back at her with a raised eyebrow before turning back to Tsunami. He let go of her hand and backed up. Excuse me, but where is your bathroom? Naruto asked politely. Upstairs, fourth door on the right, she said, smiling. Thank you, Naruto said, walking past her. I'll be down in a little while, Naruto said. He walked up the stairs and walked past a door. He heard crying from inside and stopped. He opened the door a little bit and saw Inari sitting near the window with a picture frame in hand. He shook his head before closing the door quietly and continuing to the bathroom. After taking a quick shower, he dried off and he unsealed his bag and took out an extra pair of clothing. He now wore a black shirt, face mask, red pants, his necklace with the red crystal, red wristband, and leg warmers. He put away his dirty clothes and took out a toothbrush. After he brushed his teeth, he pulled up his face mask and put away his toothbrush. He picked up his bag and the scroll and brought it back downstairs. Finally, Sakura said. I didn't take that long, Naruto said, walking past her. He put his bag down by his swords before he picked them up and strapped them to his back. Okay, I'm ready, let's get going, Naruto said. Sasuke and Sakura walked towards the door as Kakashi turned to Anko. Hey Anko, can you watch Tazuna and his family while I train them? Kakashi asked. Sure, Anko said. Naruto walked out the house closely followed by Kakashi. They walked in silence until they reached a small clearing in the forest. Okay, now I'm going to teach you a way to control the most important thing a ninja has. Their chakra, Kakashi Saidra asked. Chakra is the most important weapon to a shinobi. If you can control it, you won't use more chakra than you need to for jutsus and such. If you can learn this, you'll be all the better at using jutsu and techniques that require chakra, Kakashi said as he walked up to a tree, and he stopped at the tree and closed his visible eye, and dirt swirled around his feet, and he put one foot on the tree and then the other and began to effortlessly walk up the tree. The copy nin found his way to the bottom of a branch and looked down at them as he hung upside down. Focusing chakra at the bottom of your feet is the hardest place to focus it. If you can get this down, I'll teach you an even better way to control your chakra and jutsu, he said. Now, you try, but take a running start. Kakashi threw 3 kunai down into the ground in front of them. Use those to cut the trunk at your highest point and try to beat it the next time, and then so on and so forth, he instructed. Sakura grabbed a kunai and made a hand seal. They channeled chakra into their feet and sprinted towards the tree. Sasuke ran up about 10 steps, and on the last one his foot created a foot-shaped dent in the bark in the tree, and he slashed a mark before flipping down and landing. I didn't know maintaining a constant amount of chakra would be this hard. If I use too much chakra I get repelled, and most likely if I use too little, I fall off, Sasuke thought. This is easier than I thought, Sakura said. Sasuke, Naruto and Kakashi looked toward her as she sat on a high branch. Sasuke has mild chakra control while Sakura has good chakra control, Naruto thought. That's only because of her low reserves. She won't be able to learn any strong ninjutsu with her level, Kyrie said. Even so, it makes her useful for medical ninjutsu, Naruto thought. Hey Naruto, give it a try, Kakashi said. Naruto nodded and picked up his kunai. He made a tiger seal and channeled chakra to his feet. After gathering enough chakra, he began to walk towards the tree. He placed one foot on the tree and began to walk effortlessly up the tree. He walked up to Sakura's level and smirked. He continued onward before he stopped a few steps above Sakura. How far do you want me to go? Naruto asked, looking at the shocked faces of Sasuke and Sakura. Somehow I'm not surprised, Kakashi thought. That's fine, come back down, Kakashi said. Naruto increased his chakra flow, blasting himself off the tree. He flipped in mid-air before landing on the ground next to Sasuke. He smirked, seeing Sasuke seething. It seems like you have the worst control out of us. To think the last Uchiha would suck this badly, Naruto said. Sasuke glared harder at Naruto, clutching his fist tightly. And you did that because? Kyuubi asked. For motivation, Naruto thought. Shut up, Naruto. Sasuke-kun is better and stronger than you'll ever be, Sakura yelled. Please don't tell me she just said that, Kyuubi said. I think she did, Naruto replied, tilting his head. Naruto looked at her stupidly for a few seconds before turning towards Kakashi. So what should I do now, Sensei? Naruto asked. Well, since I wasn't expecting you to know this, I guess I could teach you another technique, Kakashi said. But Kakashi Sensei, what about Sasuke? Sakura asked. He hasn't mastered the exercise, Kakashi replied. If he does, I'll teach him one too. And you are to keep working on this until you have mastered it, Kakashi said. It will also increase your chakra storage. Then maybe I could teach you a jutsu as well, he thought. He jumped off the branch and landed on the ground on his feet and motioned for Naruto to follow him. They walked in silence until they came back to the house. What are we? Naruto started. Kakashi continued to walk, smirking under his mask. Let's see if he knows water walking. Hopefully he doesn't and I get a laugh out of this, Kakashi thought. We're going to a source of water that happens to be by the house, Kakashi said. Naruto shrugged and walked after him. They came to a pond behind the house and Kakashi stopped and turned around. Naruto stopped and looked at the water, then at Kakashi. What are we doing? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. Water walking, Kakashi said with his famous eye smile. Kakashi opened his eye a moment later to see Naruto blank face. You know it, don't you? Kakashi asked. Naruto simply nodded and watched Kakashi. Shit. Well, what to teach him? Kakashi thought. Naruto watched as Kakashi think over the situation. Naruto shook his head and pulled out a kunai. He sat on the ground with the kunai resting on his open palm. He channeled chakra into his hand, making the kunai levitate. It stopped 5 inches above his hand and started to spin clockwise. He stared at Kakashi, seeing him lost in thought. After a few minutes he got annoyed and stood up, letting the kunai drop to his hand. Why don't you teach me a fire jutsu? Naruto said. Kakashi looked at Naruto and smiled. Good idea, Kakashi said. Kakashi turned around and did a few hand seals. He inhaled with his index finger and thumb near his mouth. Kaiten, Gukaku no Jutsu, he said, exhaled, blowing a giant fireball out his mouth towards the water. After the fireball disappeared, he turned around to Naruto. That is the jutsu I want you to learn, Kakashi said. Okay. How does it work? Naruto asked. You bring chakra from your mouth to your chest, then how it? Right after that, you blow it out. The seals are Tora, Saru, Usu Buddha, Uma, then Tora. Kakashi said. Naruto nodded and walked to his side. He did the seals slowly, focusing the a little chakra. Kaden. Gukakyu no Jutsu. Naruto said quickly, pulling down his mask. He blew out a small puff of fire. Kakashi rubbed his head with his eye, smiling. Naruto, keep working on this jutsu while I go check on Sasuke and Sakura, Kakashi said. Kakashi Sensei. Exactly how many days until they come? Naruto asked. Maybe 5 to 6 days, he said before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Naruto waited until he felt Kakashi was far enough before doing the seals again. He inhaled deeply, drawing chakra from his mouth to his chest. Kaden. Gukakyu no Jutsu, Naruto said, blowing out the same sized fireball as Kakashi. After he finished, he smirked and pulled up his mask. Now that you've finished, it's time for physical training, Kyrie said. But first, about your weights, Kyrie added. After Naruto's nod, he continued. Originally I was just going to double your weights, but that can wait until you get back to the Vile Village, Kyrie said. So for now I will put the seals back on. Naruto saw black seals move up his arms before they stopped and disappeared. He felt the weight of the seals pushing in downward but was able to stay standing. After a few seconds, Naruto felt more weight on his arms and legs and slouched a little. Why are my arms heavier? Naruto thought. I doubled your weights, Kyrie replied. You said you were going to wait until I was back in Konoha, Naruto thought. I meant for your gravity seals, Kyrie said. Now I want you to do 100 vertical push-ups, squats, sit-ups and normal push-ups, Kyrie said. Fine, Naruto thought. He leaned down, placing his hands on the floor, and used his legs to push his lower body into the air. He used chakra to keep his arms straight as he felt the added weight push him down. After he made sure he was balanced correctly, he bent his arms, allowing himself to move downward. Once he deemed himself low enough, he began to push himself back up. 1, Naruto thought. Naruto continued on at a slow pace. In a wooden fortress in a cone-shaped house in the middle of the forest, Zabuza was laying and resting in his bed with a blanket over him. A boy with black hair tied in a bun is sitting in a chair next to the bed. He is wearing a striped turtleneck and pants. He has on a blue robe over his turtleneck. His has brown eyes and looked to be 14. He looked over Zabuza, who was looking at the ceiling. He heard the door open and hearing 3 people walk inside the room. Gato is in the middle of his 2 bodyguards. On his left was a man w his right eye. He has no shirt on and has tattoos on both arms. He has a kimono on and the top is rolled downward to his waist. He is gripping his katana with his right hand. The man on his left is wearing a coat and black shorts. He has long whitish hair and has a black hat on. He has a katana strapped to his left side. So even you have come back defeated. It looks like Mist Country ninjas are pretty pathetic, Gato said. You can't even avenge your men? And you call yourself the devil? Don't make me laugh, he added, walking closer. Both of his bodyguards moved in front of him, ready to draw their swords. An attack? The boy thought. One started to unsheath his blade but was stopped by Gato. Hold on a second, he said, moving towards Zabuza. Hey, there's no need to stay silent, he said, reaching for Zabuza's neck. Zabuza looked at him with a glare as his hand came closer. How about? He started as a hand gripped his wrist. Gato turned towards the boy and looked into his cold eyes. Don't touch Zabuza-san with your dirty hands, he said angrily. You, he said, trying to move back. His 2 bodyguards started to draw their blades, drawing the boy's attention towards them. He appeared in the middle of them with their katana towards both of their necks. No way, moved in an instant, the one with the black cap said. You shouldn't do that. I'm pissed off right now, he said with colder eyes. One more time. If you fail one more time, you won't be welcome here anymore. Remember that, Gato said before rushing out with his bodyguards. Haku, you didn't have to do that, Zabuza said, lifting you the blanket so he could see the kunai. I agree. I would love to see that fat pig's head roll, a voice said. Shiro appeared from the shadows with Shuji at his side. I know, but it's too early to kill Gato. If we caused a commotion, they will be after us again. We must be patient, Haku said. Yeah, Zabuza said. I guess, Shiro said. His eyes turned cold as he looked at them. How long until we attack again? He asked. About a week. Haku replied. Good, Hikaru, you're living on limited time. Shiro said, smirked evilly. Naruto, after finishing his push-ups, he fell to the ground. He panted lightly and turned to look up at the darkening sky. That took you too long. Kyrie said. I know, Naruto thought. You get a 5-minute break, then you train in taijutsu, Kyrie said. Naruto nodded and stood up. He walked over to the house while slowing lifting 2 scrolls from his pouches. He raised them up as he reached the house. He turned so that his back was facing the house and sat down. After a minute of rest, Naruto felt the soreness in his arms go away. He stood up and walked toward the water, applying chakra to his feet as he walked. He stepped on the water and walked forward. He started to sink slowly but added more chakra to his feet. His feet rose to the surface and he remained afloat. He took a deep breath before making a T-like seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said. Hundreds of clones appeared around in a large puff of smoke. They surrounded him as he drew his 2 katana. He got into the stance he did when he fought Shiro. Naruto looked forward, seeing the clones draw 1 katana. After a few seconds, Naruto burst into motion, running toward the closest of his clones. He brought Oblivion up horizontally in a blocking motion, blocking the clone's swing. He brought Dawning Light up for an overhead swing and swung it down, going through the clone. It disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto moved on to the next one. He swung Oblivion toward his right side, destroying another one, but not before receiving a small slash on his shoulder. He moved around in a small circle, slashing and blocking as his eyes glazed over. What is it, Hikaru? Naruto did an upward slash, picking up water before quickly spinning around. Remember how you told me to name my swords? He did a horizontally slash with Oblivion before twisting Dawning Light in a backward grip and stabbing backward into a clone. Yeah. Did you come up with names yet? Naruto crouched low, dodging 2 swipes before spinning with his right foot out. He made a complete rotation, tripping his clones. He made a slash diagonally upward, bringing water up with it while destroying 2 more clones. I can't come up with any good names. All the ones I think of just don't seem to fit them. Naruto swung Oblivion downward toward his left side while swinging Dawning Light in an upward arc toward his right side, taking down 2 clones. I see. How about this? I'll name them now, and when you come up with suitable names you can change them. Naruto blocked another attack with Dawning Light before making a stabbing Oblivion forward, destroying a clone. Let's see, for your black katana, how about Oblivion? Oblivion started to glow a black hue as swung his sword horizontally, taking out 2 clones. For your white katana, how about Dawning Light? Dawning Light started to glow a white hue as Naruto started to spin with both arms outstretched. Oblivion. The swords started to glow brighter as Naruto started to spin faster, causing white and black chakra to travel off the swords and follow the swords' movements, making it look like a ring appeared around Naruto. Dawning Light. Naruto rotated one last time before stopping. I like them. The ring of white and black chakra spread out around him, destroying the rest of the clones and causing ripples across the creek. Naruto came from his dazed state and looked on at the fading chakra before looking at his swords. Q. I saw it. I want you to try it again, Kyrie said, interrupting Naruto. And how do you purpose I do that? Naruto thought. Add chakra to the swords, Kyrie said. Naruto channeled chakra into his katana, but only Oblivion responded, giving off a black glow. Odd. Now spin around while unleashing the chakra, Kyrie said. Naruto did as he was told and spun around. He unleashed the chakra from Oblivion, causing the energy to go around him like a ring before spreading further away from his sword. After Naruto's third spin, he stopped and looked at the black chakra ring. The chakra wave dissipated after going a few inches from his sword's position. I see. Interesting. But what to call it? Naruto thought as he sheathed Dawning Light. How about Tenrai Kuroja Ten? Kyuubi suggested. Tenrai Kuroja Ten. HN. Too long. How about Kuroja Ten? Naruto said. Mine was better, but anyway, your 5 minutes are up, Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded his head as he looked at Oblivion. He tilted his head before giving out a frustrated growl. What's the matter? Kyuubi asked. Exactly what weights did you take off? Naruto thought. Just the gravity seals. Why? Kyuubi asked. I just remember that I still have weights on both of my katana, wristbands and leg warmers. Naruto thought. If I would have remembered, I would have killed him with no problem. He added. Kyrie let off a laugh as Naruto sheathed Oblivion. Naruto shook his head, clearing it over the Kyuubi's laughter. He concentrated on his arms and legs before his gauntlets and shin guards appeared in a bright light. Naruto made a T-seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said. 2 clones appeared in a puff of smoke in front of him. One of the clones jumped back to the house and watched them carefully. Naruto and the remaining clone bowed to each other before getting into a stance. Naruto spread his legs shoulder length before turning slightly toward his right. He brought his arms up about chest height with his left elbow closed downward and his left forearm pointing upward. His right arm was reeled back, twisted so that the back of his hand was toward the ground. His clone mirrored his stance as Naruto breathed deeply, feeling a gentle breeze blow past him. When the breeze stopped, Naruto went into action. He threw a punch forward, having his gauntlets glow. His clone blocked the punch and brought his leg around in a wide arc, aiming for his head. Naruto ducked under the kick and threw an uppercut. The clone leaned back, dodging the attack, and added chakra to his shin guards. The clone rushed at Naruto and jumped fully outstretched, and his left was bent so his foot only reached about knee length. Naruto sidestepped the kick while charging chakra into his right gauntlet and shin guard. Just as the clone landed, Naruto rushed forward, doing a raising uppercut, hitting his clone. A white outline of a dragon appeared attached to his fist and its body curling around his arm as Naruto rose into the air, doing a spin into his clone. Naruto quickly brought his arm down and brought out his right leg. He spun fast like a top, catching his clone in a tornado kick. Naruto kept spinning, making him look like tornado with a white ring circling him. Naruto spun once more, raising his leg up above his clone and doing an axe kick. In a puff of smoke, the clone disappeared to reveal a broken log. A replacement, Naruto thought as he landed back on the water. He turned quickly to see his white dragon charging towards him. Ryusatu, Naruto thought as he charged chakra into his gauntlets. He throws a right punch as the dragon reaches him. His fist and the dragon collide, causing the water and wind to blow around them viciously. Naruto adds more chakra and pushes the dragon off course to his right. The dragon dissipated, revealing his clone as Naruto charges at him. The clone quickly recovered, doing a backflip and landed in a crouch. Naruto felt a presence to his right and quickly took a glance in that direction before looking back. It seems like Inari has come to watch. Well, let me out on a show for him, Naruto thought. Naruto slapped his hands together, charging chakra into his hands before touching the water. Suiden, Suiryu no Jutsu, Naruto said as the water rose from behind him. It formed into a dragon as his clone started hand seals. Fuuten, Isu Kisoku no Jutsu, his clone said, pulling down his mask and blowing a gust of wind towards the dragon. The dragon instantly turned to ice as the wind hit the dragon. The ice dragon started to fall towards Naruto as he gathered chakra into his gauntlets. He jumped upward, doing an uppercut as the dragon fell closer. His fist collided with the dragon, causing it to shatter into thousands of small ice fragments. The fragments glitter in the light that both Naruto's gauntlets and the moon gave off as they fell. Inari looked at scene with an awe look on his face. He watched as Naruto hit the water as the ice shards twinkled in the air. Naruto smirked and looked in the air as the shards slowly descended. Naruto turned towards where Inari was, only to see him missing. Naruto frowned while both of his clones dispelled itself. I wonder what's up with the brat, Kyuubi said. Don't know, but it seems I still need to improve on the flaws in my style, Naruto said as he panted lightly. Naruto felt a presence behind him but didn't move. He felt a kunai at the right side of his neck as an arm rested on his left shoulder. Tell me something, Naru-chan. Why is it that you flirted with Tsunami when you met her but didn't with me? Anko whispered, dangerously sweet, in his ear. Naruto narrowed his eyes before he replied. I didn't flirt with Tsunami, I was just being polite. Also, the first time when we met you tossed kunai at me because I accidentally saw you swimming naked in a stream, Naruto said. You were being polite? Naruto, you was flirting with her, she said angrily. Why is she so angry? Naruto thought. No, I wasn't. It was a kind greeting, Naruto said. Anko narrowed her eyes in suspicion. He sounds like he telling the truth, Anko thought. Anko sighed and put away her kunai. Come on, it's time for dinner, she said, removing her arm off his shoulder and walked towards the house. She is acting strangely, Naruto thought, staring at her. I think he should figure this out on his own, Kyuubi thought. Anko looked back and smirked. Are you coming in or are you just going to ogle me all night? She asked, grinning. Naruto chuckled before running to catch up with her. After dinner, Naruto sat near the wall staring at Kakashi. He couldn't get a thought out of his mind. Hey Naru-chan. Why are you staring at the pervert? Anko asked. Have you noticed that when he eats he does it in a few seconds and nobody ever sees his face? Naruto said. Kakashi scratched the back of his head sheepishly with his eye smile. Sakura stared at Naruto for a few seconds before she remembered something. Hey Naruto, why did that Junin call you Hikaru and the Dragon Ninja? Sakura asked. Everyone in the room stared at Naruto waiting for his reply. Naruto looked around at his team and Anko before looking at Sakura. Do you want to know the truth? Naruto asked. His team nodded while Anko just raised an eyebrow. Are you sure? Naruto said. They nodded again. He called me that because, Naruto started looking around suspiciously. They all looked at him expectantly, leaning in. He was on drugs. Naruto said with usually tone. Everyone face faulted while Naruto looked at the wall. What the fuck do you mean he was on drugs? How the hell could you tell? Sakura exclaimed. First, I want to ask you to please refrain from yelling. It is not necessary to do since am I right here and hearing rang from you. Secondly, don't cuss. It is improper for a young lady such as yourself to do so. 3. I know because my name is Naruto not Hikaru, meaning that he had to be on something. Naruto explained. Naruto stood up taking out a stick of Pocky. I'm going to bed. Naruto said going up towards the stairs. He stopped at the middle step and listened. Hey Kakashi sensei, do you know why he called him the Dragon Ninja? Sakura asked. Not a clue, but I have heard of the name somewhere before, Kakashi said taking a thinking pose. Where? Sakura asked expectantly. He stared at them for a second drawing out the moment. I don't remember, Kakashi said finally. Sakura and Tazuna face faulted while the others just looked at Kakashi. Do you know Anko sensei? Sakura asked. Anko raised an eyebrow and stared at her. Why would I know? Anko said. You do act like you've known him for a while, Sasuke said. I do that with anyone I find interesting, Anko said shrugging. Then why don't you do it with Sasuke-kun? Sakura asked. Because I don't find him interesting, Anko said smiling. What does Naruto Baka have that Sasuke-kun doesn't? Sakura asked angrily. You know Pinky, you're asking a lot of questions about Naru-chan. Is it possible that you have a crush on him? She asked smirking. Sakura blushed in anger as she stared at Anko. Naruto tuned out the rest as he walked up the stairs. The next day Naruto was upside down on top of the railing to the bridge. He has his left hand behind his back while his right was outstretched towards the railing with only his index finger touching the railing. A thin layer of chakra was connection him to the railing. What are you doing? Tazuna asked as he carried some wood. Training, Naruto said. So what happened to the girl and the other boy? He asked. They are still training, Naruto said. Then why are you training here and they are not? He asked. Because this is voluntary for me. Sasuke and Sakura needs a lot more training to be a little helpful during a battle. You are very lucky to have me, Anko, and Kakashi here, Naruto said. Why's that? Tazuna asked. Before Naruto could reply, a man came over. Hey Tazuna. A man called. What is it, Gichi? Tazuna asked looking back at him. I've been thinking a lot recently and, can I stop working on the bridge? Gichi asked. Why is that? Tazuna yelled out. This is so sudden, not you too, he said. Tazuna, we've been close for a long time now. I want to help you, but if we continue Gato will notice us. And if we get killed, what will be the point? He asked. Why don't we quit building the bridge? He said. I can't do that. Tazuna started. This bridge is our bridge. This bridge we started building together believing it would bring resources to our super poor country, he continued. But if we lose our lives, he started. Naruto frowned at him as he pushed off the rail and landed on his feet. It's already noon. Let's stop for today, he said. Gichi, you don't HRROW. Tazuna said, fixing his hat. He walked off with Naruto following close behind. After they left the bridge, they went to the village. Naruto looked at the people around him passively. Wait, thief. He heard a feminine voice yell out. He shook his head before disappearing. He quickly appeared in front of the guy and tripped him. OWW. He let out as Naruto stepped on his back. He took the bag away from him and walked over to a woman who was running after him. Here, Naruto said, holding the bag out for her. She took it from him and started bowing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, she repeated over and over again. Don't worry about it, Naruto said. Naruto walked towards Tazuna, who was smiling. So what are we doing here? Naruto asked. I'm supposed to bring home food, Tazuna replied. They walked until they came to a store. Naruto looked down and saw a child holding his knees near the door. He sighed and started digging in his kunai pouch. Here we are, he said. They walked past the kid with Naruto dropping something on him. The kid looked up to find a pocky stick on his arm. He quickly grabbed it, smiling before he opened it and started to eat. Don't tell me you're getting soft, Kyuubi growled out. You call it me getting soft while I call it helping out, Naruto thought. Welcome, Naruto heard as he followed Tazuna. A guy walked next to Naruto and started to reach for his pocket. If you want to keep that hand, I suggest you move it away from my pocket, Naruto said in a dangerous tone as he glared at the man. The man backed up before running out the store. After Tazuna paid for what he wanted, they left the store. After walking a few minutes, Naruto felt a tug on his pants. He turned around and looked down. He saw a kid with dirty clothes and brown hair holding his hands out to him while smiling. Naruto gave the kid an eye smile as he bent down. How about I show you a magic trick? Naruto asked. The boy nodded as he watched Naruto. Nothing in my right, nothing in my left, Naruto said, showing his hands. I have no sleeves, so nothing can be there, he continued. But wait, what's this? Naruto asked, reaching behind the boy's ear. The boy looked at Naruto's hand as it moved from his ear. 5 pocky sticks was in Naruto's hand as he showed the boy. He kid smiled brightly as Naruto handed him the chocolate sticks. Now run along, Naruto said, patting him on his head. The kid smiled brighter as he gripped the pocky and ran off. Naruto stood up straight and turned back to Tazuna. It's been like this since Gato came. All the adults have lost hope. That's why we need the bridge. A symbol of courage, we need for the people to lose their fear and regain the desire to stand up for themselves. If that bridge can be completed, the city will return to that time, the people will return to how they were before, Tazuna explained with a look of determination on his face. Naruto nodded as they walked on. At dinner, Naruto leaned against the wall as he watched everyone eat except Kakashi, who had already finished. Wow, this is super fun. It's been a long time since we ate with so many people, Tazuna said. Naruto watched as Sasuke ate like there was no tomorrow. More, Sasuke said, holding his bowl out. A second later, Sasuke leaned over and threw up. If you're going to throw up, then stop eating, Anko shouted. No, I must eat. That way I can get stronger, Sasuke said, wiping his mouth. Then eat slowly so you won't throw up, Naruto said. Sasuke glared at him but kept silent. After dinner, they sat at the table as Sakura looked at the picture on the wall. The picture had Tazuna, Inari and Tsunami with a good portion of it ripped out. Hey, why do you have a torn picture on the wall? Sakura asked. Inari-kun was staring at it during dinner. It seems like someone purposely removed the person that was in the picture, Sakura said. This got Tazuna, Inari, and Tsunami attention. It's my husband, Tsunami said, and the man called the hero of the city, Tazuna added. Inari slammed his hand on the table before getting up and walking away. Inari, where are you going? She called out to him. He opened the door, ignoring her, and walked through. Inari, she called one more time as he slammed the door. Father, I've told you not to talk about that man in front of Inari, she said before following him out the door. Damn brat needs to get spanked, Anko said, leaning back. There seems to be some kind of explanation, Kakashi said, ignoring Anko. Inari had a father not related by blood. They were close like a real father and son. Inari would laugh a lot back then, he said. Tazuna paused as he started to shake in rage. But Inari changed since the incident with his father, he said. The word, courage, has been stolen from the people of this island and, Inari. Ever since that day because of that incident, Tazuna explained. What happened? Naruto asked. Tazuna took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. Before I tell you, first I have you about the man who was called the hero of this city, Tazuna said. It all started 3 years ago when Inari met that man, Tazuna started. Okay, I would go into the story, but you should already know what happened, so I'm skipping it. From that day on, Inari changed, as did Tsunami, and the whole city, Tazuna said. The whole room was quiet until Naruto leaned away from the wall and started walking towards the door. Naruto, where are you going? Sakura asked. I don't really believe in heroes. Never have, probably never will, Naruto started. But I will prove to Inari and this whole city that nothing good ever comes from losing hope. Sensei, I'm going to train. If you don't see me in a few days, don't worry about it, Naruto said. He didn't give anyone time to reply as he walked out. Naruto ran deep into the forest until he came on to a big enough clear. His gauntlets and shin guards appeared in a flash of white light. He made a T-seal while concentrating chakra. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said. In a large puff of smoke, no less than 1,000 clones appeared. Okay, here's the deal. We have about 4 days until the shinobi returns. That's how long I have to get ready. So come at me with the intent to kill, but no jutsus are allowed, just taijutsu and kenjutsu, Naruto said. His clones nodded, some getting into taijutsu stances while other drawing their katana. Let's go, Naruto said. The 6th day, Naruto lay under a tree resting with cut and slashes throughout his shirt and pants and his hands loosely around his each katana. A bird rested on his hit-aid. A teenager who was picking herbs looked over and saw Naruto sleeping. She saw the hit-aid and the sign on it and narrowed her eyes. She walked over to him and moved her right hand towards him. The bird on his head flapped away from them quickly. At the house, Anko yawned loudly as she sat at the table. Naruto didn't come back again? Tazuna asked. Nope, the brat always goes overboard on training, Anko said. How exactly do you know that? Kakashi asked. I know his type, Anko simple replied, getting up and stretching. He might have died from using too much chakra by now, Sakura said. I hope he is all right. A child all alone in the woods at night, Tsunami said. You have nothing to worry about. That kid's a true ninja, Kakashi said. I don't know, it wouldn't surprise me if the moron was dead, Sasuke said. Anko ignored him and walked out the house. Naruto, the girl's hand came closer to his neck. Hey, wake up, you'll catch a cold if you sleep out here, she said, shaking him away. Naruto's eyes quickly opened as he looked at her. She backed up as Naruto sat up. He shook his head and blinked a couple of times. He looked at the seemingly girl and narrowed his eyes while backing up a little. She wore a pink kimono with cherry blossoms on it. On her neck was a collar and her hair was out. You know that's a boy, right? Kyrie asked. Yeah, Naruto thought. Hello, my name is Haku, he said. Name's Naruto, Naruto said. He let go of his sword and raised it up to shake his hand. He took his hand hesitantly and shook. So what are you doing? I'm picking herbs, he said. Need help? Naruto asked, sheathing his katana. He nodded and they both went into the herb patch. Is this the one you need? Naruto asked, holding a plant up. He nodded and Naruto placed it in her basket. Thanks for the help, Haku said. No problem, Naruto said. What are you doing at this time of the morning? He asked. Training, Naruto said. You, that hit-aid, could you be a ninja? He asked. Yeah, Naruto replied calmly. Wow, you're incredible, Haku said. I guess so, Naruto replied, putting another herb in the basket. Why are you training? He asked. So I could get stronger, Naruto replied simply. But you already look pretty strong, he said. I want to become stronger than I am now, Naruto said. Why is that? He said. I need to accomplish something, and to do that I need to be stronger, Naruto said. Is that for yourself or someone else? He asked. Naruto replied. He started to giggle girlishly, catching Naruto's attention. Do you have someone important to you? He asked. Naruto looked at him softly as images of Anko and Kyrie went through his mind. Yeah, Naruto said. When a person has something they want to protect, that's when they can be truly strong, Haku said. Naruto nodded as he stood up, picking the basket up. You will become strong. Let's meet somewhere, he said. Sure, but before you go I would like to tell you I have no interest in boys whatsoever, Naruto said. Haku turned back with his eyes twitching. I'm not, he started. Hey, I have no problem if you're gay. I'm just don't swing that way, Naruto said with a shrug. I'm not gay, Haku growled out. No need to get angry. I thought you were by the girlish kimono. But like I said, I have no problem with it, Naruto replied. Haku growled out in annoyance and walked off. Bye, Haku. Hope you find a man to be happy with, Naruto yelled out. Naruto saw his aura darken before laughing to himself. Okay, that was so out of character for you, Kyrie said. Really? Naruto thought, turning around. Must be you're hanging out with the snake chick too much, she's affecting your personality, Kyrie said. I don't think so. Besides that, did you sense his chakra? He could be that hunter nin that saved Zabuza, Naruto thought. Maybe. Kyuubi said. Naruto turned around sensing Anko and leaned to the side dodging a kunai. Anko appeared behind him and wrapped her right arm around his neck and held a kunai to his neck with her left hand. Hello Naru-chan. What have you been up to? She asked sweetly. Training, Naruto started before he disappeared from her arms. She gave a look of surprise before she was pushed and pinned against a tree by the young ninja's body. Hard, he finished. I can see that, she said seductively. She smirked as she raised her hand to his face. He raised an eyebrow as she started to caress his mask-covered face. Naruto looked at her hand that was caressing his face before catching a quickly movement from his side. He couldn't move as he was grabbed and thrown away. Naruto flipped in the air and landed on his feet. He saw her smirk and as she pulled out a box of Pocky. Naruto's eyes widened before he went through his kunai pouch. His eyes narrowed as he found his Pocky missing. You should give that back, Naruto said in a threatening manner. Naruto caught them effortlessly and put them in his kunai pouch. Anko's eye twitched before she smiled and turned around. Naruto added more chakra to his legs and speed up. When he was close enough he lunged at her. Anko jumped up dodging him while landing on a tree branch. Come on Naru-chan, you can do better than that, Anko said before laughing and jumping off. Naruto chuckled making a hand seal. He disappeared in a swirl of light and appeared next to Anko. Anko quickly jumped down from the tree branch as he lunged again. Naruto again disappeared in a swirl of light and appeared a second later next to her. Naruto's respect for her skill grew as she flipped over him. She started to laugh loudly as Naruto would use his shunshin to try and capture her and she would dodge. Only after about a half an hour of playing tag, did they end up behind a tree right by Tazuna's house. Naruto was straddling her stomach with his knees pinning her arms to the ground. Naruto started at her panting lightly while she was panting more heavily. She started to chuckle making Naruto tilt his head questioningly. You know what you're going to do to get your box of Pocky, right? She asked. You're going to have to reach into my shirt and pull it out, she said seductively knowing he wouldn't do it. Naruto blinked at her before moving his hand to where the Pocky box were in her shirt. He added chakra to his finger and moved up to her neck, the box following slowly. The box slid of her shirt and Naruto quickly picked it up and put it in his pouch. Naruto 1, Anko 0 inches Naruto whispered with a smirk before he jumped up and walked towards the house. Anko sat up staring at his back with a smirk on her face. Oh, you won this round but the game has just begun, she thought licking her lips. The next day it was late in the afternoon in a small clearing. Naruto was upside down with his index finger on a glowing kunai tip. Naruto listened as Sasuke hit the ground. They have been at it for hours with Naruto giving his occasional tip. Sasuke was almost to the top as Naruto took out a kunai and threw it upward toward his feet while at chakra. He bent his right leg so that the soles of his shoes were an inch away from the kunai trajectory. The kunai stopped at his feet being attracted by his chakra. Naruto took out another kunai and threw it upward adding chakra to his other foot. The kunai stopped at his foot as Naruto took another one out and planted the butt of the kunai into the soil. He added chakra to his left index finger and rested it on the kunai tip. He shifted his balance so that his weight was rested on both fingers. What are you doing? Sasuke asked as he panted. Kunai balance and a little extra. It helps me focus on more than one thing at a time which could be helpful in battle, Naruto explained. Sasuke said before running back at the tree, with Kakashi. 196,197,198, Kakashi counted with Tazuna and Sakura sitting on his back. I wanted to ask you earlier but, why are you still here after I lied about this mission? Tazuna asked. To abandon your duty is not courageous. Below the courageous, there is nothing, Kakashi said. Those are the previous Hokage's words. That is the way of the shinobi. Shinobis don't move because of money alone. Anko was handing from a branch doing chin-ups. 205,206,207. She counted as she went up and down. I wonder what Naru-chan is doing right now, she said. He's probably in the forest, alone, unconscious, defenseless. Anko stopped with a smirk on her face. I better check on him. She let go of the branch and landed on the floor. In the wooden fortress Zabuza held an apple while applying a little force to it. The apple was crushed under his grip and he let the pieces drop to the floor. You're almost all better, Haku said. Good. We could final attack, Shiro said. What do you got against that brat anyway? Zabuza asked. Let's just say we had a bad history, Shiro said. Zabuza replied. Later that night the door opened to reveal Anko dragging a bruised up Sasuke and Naruto. Naruto looking way worse off than Sasuke. What happened to them? Kakashi said. They burned themselves out, and when I told them to stop they didn't want to listen to me, Anko said, letting them drop to the ground. She walked forward and took a seat at the table. Sakura got up quickly and ran towards Sasuke. Sasuke-kun. Sakura shouted, holding on to him. Anko stared at her and shook her head and looked at Kakashi. Anyway, the brat finished with his tree climbing thing, Anko said. That's good. So now he could start guarding Tazuna, Kakashi said. He looked towards them and found them still not moving. I think you went overboard. Nope, Anko said, smirking. At that moment Naruto sat up and looked around, knowing where is it at the table. Next time don't hit so hard, Naruto grumbled out as he rested his head on the table. Don't be a kid, you can take it, Anko said, waving him off. Inari stared at him as memories of his father came to mind. His eyes started to tear up as he continued to stare. Tears started to run down his face as he looked at the table. Naruto looked at him, seeing the tears on his face. He slammed his hands on the table as he glared at Naruto. Why do you guys bother to try so hard? No matter how hard you train, you're still no match for GATOUS men. No matter what glorious claims you make or how hard you work when facing the strong, the weak only end up getting killed, Inari yelled. Shut it, Naruto said in a low but commanding tone. Everyone looked at him as he raised his head off the table. One such as you has no right to criticize me or my team, Naruto said. I'd hate to be like you. You don't anything about this country yet you're being so nosy. What the hell do you know about me? I'm different from your always acting cool as if you have everything. You don't know how hard life can be, he yelled. Naruto stared at him, his eyes turning to slits. And you do? You have no idea of how truly a bitch life could be. Just because you lost your father you think you have a right to go around acting like a star of a tragedy. Your mother and grandfather are in the same boat as you, and do you see them crying about it? No, you see your grandfather risking his life trying to gain control from Gato and your mother helping any way she could. So don't sprout bullshit at me when you do nothing but sit in your room crying over a picture of your father. Come talk to me when you stop crying like a little sissy. Naruto growled out, catching himself in the end. Naruto, that's enough, Sakura yelled. Naruto looked at her, not noticing when she or Sasuke, who was sitting next to her, got to the table. Naruto looked back at Inari with a glare before turning around and walking upstairs. I'm no longer hungry, Naruto said before walking up the stairs. Later that night Inari was sitting behind his house looking at the water. He heard footsteps and looked behind him to see Anko. She sat right next to him and took a glance at him. You should excuse him, even if what he said is true, she said. Inari looked at her in shock and looked back at the water as she continued. Tazuna told us about your dad, and like you, he grew up without a dad. Actually, he never knew his mother either. He never had any sort of family to help him, she said. Inari looked shocked once more but didn't interrupt it. If you want to know the truth, Naru-chan, well, I believe has had a rougher past than you, Anko said with a sad tone. Huh? Inari replied. It's been a few years since we met, but during our first meeting, I believe he was about 9 at the time. I noticed something about him, Anko said. It's hard to explain, but the best way to put it is, he had this type of knowledge, Anko said. Knowledge? Inari let out curiously. Yeah, knowledge of the world, Anko said, looking up slightly. From all the places I've been, I've seen many adults and children. Never have I seen a look like his, at least from someone his age. Truth is, kids are supposed to cry when they are sad, supposed to have tantrums when they are angry, supposed to be, well, brats. But he has never cried or even looked sad even when things got tough for him. He just trained harder, ignoring what people did or said, only retaliating when it was necessary. No matter what happened, he's looked forward, never dwelling on the past, never getting hung up on unfavorable situations. But I get the feeling that he already realized that crying would do no good for him. He knows what it means to really be strong, just like your father. Naruto may understand your feelings better than anyone else, Anko explained. What? Inari asked. He doesn't seem to not be able to not be concerned about you, she said with a smile. She got up and patted his head. Good night, brat, she said, walking off. She opened the door to see Kakashi with his eye curved. I'm good, aren't I? Anko whispered with a smirk. Yeah, you are, though I could have done better, Kakashi said. I doubt it, she said, walking past him. She went upstairs and saw Naruto leaning against the wall with his eyes closed. When did you become so kind? Naruto asked with hidden amusement in his voice. HMPH. I just didn't want the brat to be crying about something else tomorrow, Anko said with a huff. If you say so, but I think you may have said a little too much, Naruto said, opening his eyes. It doesn't matter. Nobody will go too deep into it, Anko said, waving him off. You never know. Kakashi Sensei might ask move information from you. After all, the Hokage had you look after me since our second meeting, Naruto said. Anko's eyes widened briefly before she narrowed her eyes in realization. You knew since the beginning, didn't you? She asked. Yeah, I did. Wasn't too hard to figure out, though I would always wonder why the teasing, he said. Anko gave him a huge grin as he looked at her. Then I would remember it's you, Naruto said. Anko let out a chuckle as he turned. But you did save me the trouble in speaking with the kid. I guess I'll have to do something to repay you, Naruto said, walking towards the room. I know exactly what you could do, Anko said, lust shining in her eyes. Nothing like that. Naruto scolded her as he stopped. She appeared behind him and wrapped her arms around his neck. I was just going to ask for a massage, Anko said, nibbling on his ear. I could do that, Naruto said, glancing at her. Really? She asked enthusiastically. Sure, as long as you don't try to start anything, Naruto said, slipping out of her hold and walking forward. Good night. I can do that, she thought with a smirk. The next day, Naruto woke up with a start hearing noises downstairs. He looked to his sides and saw Kakashi and Sasuke gone. Fuck, they left me, Naruto thought. He got up and quickly changed his clothing. He strapped on his katana as he looked out the window. He saw two men walking with a tied-up tsunami. I guess it was a good thing I overslept, Naruto thought, slipping out of the opened window. Downstairs, wait, Inari yelled. Huh? Katu's bodyguard with the eye patch on said as he looked back. Inari, Tsunami yelled. It's that kid, he said. Get away from my mom, he yelled, sweating bullets. He let out a war cry and started to running at them as they smirked. Geez, stupid kid, the eye patch one said. Cut him, the one wearing the hat said. Sure, the eye patch one replied. They both grabbed the hilt of their katana. Inari, Tsunami yelled, looking scared, but drew their swords and did a dual strike on Inari. They both realized that they didn't cut the kid but a log and looked back to see a cloaked figure laying Tsunami, who had fainted down. Sorry for being late, Naruto said, looking at Inari. He opened his eyes to see Naruto with his eyes curved. Naruto, Inari said. You did great, but let me take over from here. Okay, Naruto said, patting his head. Well, if it isn't one of the loser ninja Tazuna hired, the eye patch samurai said. Now close your eyes and cover your ears, Inari. I don't want you to watch this, Naruto said. Inari did as he was told and waited. Naruto looked at the samurai and smirked behind his mask. They both charged at him as his hands blurred through seals. Sweden. Suiryu no jutsu, Naruto whispered. The water rose in the form of a dragon and charged at the samurai. They saw it and tried to run but never got the chance. The dragon opened its huge maw and chomped down on them. Naruto saw the two samurai move to the center of the dragon and directed it towards the lake. The dragon dove into the lake and brought the two samurai down to the very bottom and held them there. Naruto turned back to Inari and patted his head. He opened his eyes and saw Naruto. He smiled brightly as he removed his hands from his ears. Inari, I guess I can't call you a sissy, and asked. Nope, Inari said happily. Okay, hold the fort here. If they attacked here, they might have attacked my team as well, Naruto said. Hi, Inari said. Naruto disappeared in a swirl of light, missing Inari. All look. Same time at the bridge, Tazuna and his guards arrived at the bridge to find everything in an uproar. The men who had already arrived were lying upon the ground, most dead, but a few had managed to only be knocked unconscious. Tools had been thrown everywhere, littering the ground. A stifled gasp escaped the mouth of Tazuna as he spotted one of his men coughing. Momochi. Zabuza. The man managed to stutter before falling into unconsciousness. Anko scowled as she scanned the area looking for any sign of him. As they began to help the wounded, a thick mist came rolling in, seeping into their clothes. The clouds had covered the sky, leaving not one patch of blue. Anko and Kakashi stood up and turned their attention to the end of the bridge where two forms were heading towards them. The rest of the group came up behind them, the genins forming a semi-circle around Tazuna. Kakashi narrowed his eye as stepped in front of the others. Well, looks like we meet again, Hitaki. Zabuza's mirthless voice carried across the expansion of bridge until it met the ears of Team 7. The shinobi took a defensive stance as the two missing nin came to a stop about 20 feet away. Sakura and Sasuke pulled out their kunai as they watched the two. Anko's eyes narrowed as she smirked, waiting for some action. Shall we, Haku? Zabuza asked the boy beside him as he pulled out his senbon needles and took a step forward. Zabuza grinned as he watched Sasuke shake. Looks like one of your brats, it's still a scared little sissy, Hitaki. Hey, Mizu Bunshin no jutsu. 10 water clones appeared surrounding the team. Kakashi grinned as he took a step back, allowing Sasuke to effectively take out all of the Bunshin before appearing at Sakura's side, smirking at the two missing nin. Zabuza narrowed his eyes and whispered something to Haku. The boy in turn nodded his head once more and took another step forward as he nodded his head towards Sasuke. The Uchiha, loving the attention, took a step forward, giving the boy his answer. I do hope you realize that I will not be letting you leave here alive today. You think you'll be able to defeat me? Haku smiled underneath his mask as he watched Sasuke puff out his chest ever so slightly. Anko watched the interaction with an amused face before realizing that the other two Junin that were with Zabuza before were there. Shit, they went after Naru-chan. Anko thought. Zabuza saw her and began to draw his blade. Don't think you're leaving to help that brat, he said. Anko glared at him with a scowl on her face. Damn, they must have gone after Naruto. Kakashi thought, also noticing the lack of two Junin. Anko, I'll take care of him, you go get Naruto, Kakashi said. Back to Naruto. Naruto stopped suddenly as a kunai came past his head and hit the tree trunk. He turned to the side and saw Shiro and Shuji waiting in a clearing, eyes narrowed. Kit, no holding back. Kyuubi said. Fine, Naruto thought, disappearing in a swirl of light and appearing a few seconds later in front of the missing nin. What took you so long? Shiro asked with venom dripping from his voice. I had important things to do. Naruto replied. But enough with the talking, you two die now. Naruto said, removing both katana from his scabbard. No, now I'm going to kill you like I killed that bitch. Shuji, stay back and don't interfere. Shiro said, pulling out his katana. Naruto's eyes became slits, but he controlled his anger. No, he started. I said stay back, he said in a threatened manner. Shuji growled but nodded. Let's us begin, Hikaru the dragon ninja. Shiro said darkly. Naruto removed the weights from his wristbands and leg warmers as his gauntlets and shin guards appeared. Let's, Naruto said, anger barely heard on his voice. They both disappeared in a blur and reappeared with their katana locked together in the middle of the clearing. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next part.